the Super Bowl MVP that returned to his alma mater to rebuild its proud football tradition. A legacy that was created over half a century by the most successful coach in college football history, the immortal Eddie Robinson, the now 82-year-old icon, owner of 9 Black College championships himself. With over 400 wins to his credit, Robinson cast a giant shadow that Williams now has clearly emerged from. With 1 Black College national championship under his belt, Williams has his team poised again for another title run. But for all his recent success, the one team, the one man he can't beat is arch rival Southern University, led by Pete Richardson, undefeated at the Bayou Classic and holder of 3 Black College national championships. Today, Southern and Grambling meet again with a shot at the SWAC championship on the line. 2 teams, 2 coaches, even the 2 bands battle head-to-head as they renew the most intense rivalry in Black college sports. Grambling, Southern Bayou Classic is next. NBC Sports presents the 28th annual State Farm Bayou Classic, featuring the Grambling State Tigers versus the Jaguars of Southern University. Welcome to the Big Easy, New Orleans, home to some of the world's best parties, and Thanksgiving weekend is no exception, as each year the city hosts over 200,000 people for one of the biggest and best rivalries in college football, the State Farm Bayou Classic. And hi, everybody. Lewis Johnson. Welcome to the Superdome for the 50th matchup between Grambling and Southern. This weekend has become one of the biggest African-American social events in the United States, pumping millions of dollars into the New Orleans economy each year and giving alumni and fans from all over the country an opportunity to support traditionally black colleges. Well, Grambling is led by former Super Bowl MVP Doug Williams, now in his 4th season as head coach. Williams has engineered a resurgence of the Grambling football program, but he is winless in the Bayou Classic. Now, across the field, Southern head coach Pete Richardson is undefeated against the arch-rival Tigers. That means he's 8-0 on Thanksgiving weekend. Well, I'll catch up with you from the sidelines a little later, but for right now, let's join the guys who will call today's game, Mike Breen and John Dockery. Mike?
All right, Lois, thank you, and hello, everyone. There's extra motivation besides the usual bragging rights in this rivalry. The winner today gets to play Alabama State for the SWAC championship next week. And for Grambling, of course, there's that extra motivation of snapping the 8-game losing streak to Southern. And this year, Grambling feels confident. And the reason why, John, for the first time in the Doug Williams era, they feel offensively they have a balanced attack.
Yes, a balanced attack. And all starts with the gifted quarterback, Randy Himes, probably the best athlete on the field, maybe in the conference. And Doug Williams will tell you that all I have to do is spread out the defense with 4 or 5 wide receivers and let Himes work his magic. He's responsible for 16 touchdowns this year. And if you're looking for some balance, they have the baby bus. That's Brad Hill, 5'10", 230 pounds, slightly smaller than Pittsburgh's Jerome Bettis. Still, he rolls over the opposition for close to 100 yards a game and 5 yards a carry. So today it's Double H, Himes and Hill to power the Grambling offense.
As for Southern, it's amazing they're still in the title hunt. At one point this season, they were 3-3, completely decimated by injuries, especially on the offensive end. In fact, today, sophomore quarterback Quincy Richard will make his first career start in such a huge game, but he's very capable. However, when you have all those injuries offensively, the defense has to pick up the slack, and boy, have they ever, John.
They need big-time defense today, and it will come from these 2 men, linebacker and captain Robert Chapman, 8 sacks. He'll have to add to that total again. Defensive end Michael Landry plays in front of him. He can disrupt any offense. So today it's high-octane offense from Grambling against tenacious defense from Southern.
The ultimate in bragging rights, and we'll have the opening kickoff when we return after this message from a word from your local station. And it's a big game for both Grambling and Southern. As intense a rivalry as you'll find for these two Louisiana schools. So much history, so much tradition. The 50th meeting overall. Southern leading since the start of the Bayou Classic by 1, but the one that hurts for Grambling, 8 straight victories for Southern. And even though Grambling won a SWAC title last year, there was something missing, John Dockery.
Oh, the mantra for Grambling is 8 is enough. And talking to Doug Williams yesterday, he was incredibly confident. He felt that this was the year that they would finally break that streak. Doug Williams as a player won it 4 times, but as a coach, he's 0-3.
Grambling 8-1 overall, 5-1 in the SWAC. And Southern 7-3 overall, and also 5-1 in the SWAC. And to kick off, it'll be Southern. Francisco Villagrano, who does all the kicking for the Jaguars, kicking and the punting. And he'll kick off to one very dangerous return man, Hendrick Shanklin, who's number 6. That's Derek Wallace, number 9. And we're set to go once again. The SWAC championship will be decided next week against Alabama State. And a short kick fielded at about the 27 from Ashton Hawkins. And a whistle blew, apparently. It's kind of tough to hear, and you'll have that problem all day long.
You know, I don't think the officials were ready to actually kick that off, so we're going to wait to hear what they have to say. But what we'll get to see right away, Mike, is that high-octane offense that we talked about from Grambling, averaging 38 points a game against the Southern defense, which is only giving up 18. And if Southern is to win this game with all their injuries on offense, they have to get it done on defense today. They'll come after the quarterback right off the bat.
The Tigers have scored 30 or more points in every game this year. They pile them up. And again, it's that balance that has made the difference. So Villagrano will attempt it once again. Last couple of years in the Bayou Classic, they've been shootouts. It's usually whoever has the ball last wins, but there are 2 very strong defenses. A short kick. Shanklin at his 25. He's an excellent return man. One missed tackle he gets away from. Still in pursuit. And finally knocked out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. Richard Gant on the stop. A 2-yard return. And the vaunted Grambling offense comes on. And there's the man, Randy Himes, the senior, the quarterback. He's got a good offensive line ahead of him, including senior center Larry Matibia, who's one of the very best. Of course, Himes can run and throw. Steady Brad Hill at the tailback. Levi Washington, Ellis Spears, 2 very dangerous receivers. You'll see 3, 4, and sometimes even 5 as Himes will take over. First down at 10 at the 25-yard line, and will throw on first down. Quickly chased out. Looks downfield. Intended for Washington, but incomplete. And a 2nd and 10 coming up. The Southern defense, as we mentioned, has had to really pull the weight with all the injuries to the offense. Michael Landry, the leader of the front 4, terrific senior end. And they've got one of the best linebacking cores going, led by Robert Chapman, one of the best in Division I AA. And Terrence Arnold, the right cornerback, 7 interceptions on the year. Some dangerous players on that Jaguar defense.
Nice rollout by Himes, kept his cool, got away from the rush, and that ball was on Levi Washington's fingertips and was catchable.
Hill and Shanklin in the backfield. Shanklin a running back, but they love to throw him. Again, big pressure. High throw, incomplete. Cody Smith with the hit to knock it out of Thyron Anderson's hands.
Ball is fairly well thrown in his hands. That's his 2nd ball. Yes, coming down. Cody Smith made a good play, got his helmet right in and hit the ball and knocked it away. But again, another catchable ball. And you see the tempo of this game. They're going to open it up, Grambling. They're going to run Himes around, and the defense is simply going to blitz, try to contain him and make things happen.
So a 3rd and 10. Jaguars will come at you all game long. Himes under pressure again, has to release quickly and complete to Chris Highshaw. And very close to a first down. It appears that he has. It should be about 11-yard pickup. And yes, a first down. Clutch throw there from Randy Himes.
And also the reason that was complete as you watch Himes drop back is that Cody Smith, the defensive back who made a good play earlier, fell. So the completion was made first down Grambling, and right there you see the fallen defensive back behind him right there.
Shannon Smith nearly getting to Himes, who released it just in time. So a first down, ball now at their own 36-yard line. Himes fast so far on every down. This one complete. Byron Brown out of the backfield. A 7-yard pickup. Lenny Williams on the stop. And there you see the offensive ranks for this offense, John.
And this is high-powered, and we talked about balance. So far, there's been no balance. Doug Williams reverting to form. He's a former MVP quarterback in the Super Bowl, a great player here at Grambling. He loves to throw. Yesterday, he was trying to convince us, hey, we do have a running game. You know, Brad Hill can carry the ball almost 5 yards a carry. Have yet to see a running play from Grambling.
No one in the backfield now on this 2nd and 3. Himes again back to pass. Again under pressure, but throws it away. The intended receiver was Ellis Spears. It was funny yesterday, Michael Landry, the terrific defenseman who put some pressure there. He told us, hey, the history of Doug Williams, he doesn't want to run the ball.
And he doesn't want to run it, and Landry gets a big hit right up the middle. And hey, Landry said, we blitz everybody, and we're not changing. Sure, we've been hurt on offense, and we don't have much firepower there. But I'll tell you, on defense, we're going to come after everyone. And Defense is a reason that Southern is here, having won 4 straight.
3rd and 3, 5 plays, 5 passes. Make it 6. Landry again under pressure. And Himes has had to throw in a hurry almost every time. Intended for Spears. Robert Chapman with great presence in the backfield there. Chapman, he is one of the best players in all of Division I AA.
He is. He comes in with 8 sacks, and he is their captain and the heart and soul of that defensive team.
Marcus Yanez will punt. And for Southern, Ezra Landry is back to receive. This 5'7" sophomore. Speedy guy back at the 19. So the Southern defense very solid in the first possession. Yanez took over the punting about midway through the season. Place kicker Brian Morgan had done both, but Yanez has been kicking well and gets off a beauty. Landry calls for a fair catch back at his own 11-yard line. Excellent punt from Yanez, a 47-yarder with no return. And Southern with their first chance on offense coming up. 28th Annual State Farm Bayou Classic is brought to you by your Ford Outfitters, No Boundaries. By Coca-Cola Classic, season's greetings from Coca-Cola. By State Farm, proud title sponsor of the 2001 Bayou Classic. Southern will take over just shy of their own 11-yard line, and making his first career start at quarterback, 6'3" sophomore Quincy Richard, who played in their last game. He's certainly talented, but not experienced yet. Leon Miller, the tailback, Larry Dents, and that's Miller gets the call. Pushes up to about the 14. Calvin Pearson, the first to hit him, and about a 3-yard pickup. As we look at the Southern offense, the offensive line led by senior guard Brandon Small and Larry Harrell, the other senior there. Of course, Richard, that first start. Devin Lewis has become the big play receiver. Fake, and Richard tries it himself, but goes nowhere, maybe even a loss. Terrence Duke in on the tackle. So a 3rd and 8 will be coming up for Southern. Again, it's been a shootout here as we look at the Grambling defense. Front 4, Mark Hall's got a knee injury. He leads the team in sacks. And Robert Taylor, the leader of this defense. Chris Brown leads the conference in interceptions. So on 3rd and 8, fires nearly picked off at the 20-yard line. Intended for Gerbert. Broken up by Aaron Bridges.
Nice move by defensive back Aaron Bridges right there. Reads through the receiver to the quarterback. Good break on the ball to break it up.
So Doug Williams happy with his first defensive sequence. Apparently it was a flag. I didn't see the flag. It's way up by the 34-yard line now. And came in late on the play.
And Doug Williams not happy with that call, obviously, because it's against his Grambling defensive team.
So after the terrific stand, Southern will get the first down.
Hey, look at participation against the defense. 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
Costly penalty as the ball goes up now to the 27. And instead of punting, they've got 1st and 10. Illegal participation. The call. Richard in the shotgun. He can throw. Deflected. Nearly picked off again. Now they say incomplete. Robert Taylor the pressure. And Aaron Bridges has been around the ball quite a bit early on.
Robert Taylor is the middle linebacker. He's the guy that actually got the pressure from the outside, and the ball is tipped, but it does hit the turf. It's a good call. No interception.
2nd and 10. As you can tell, both these teams like to throw the ball. That time a handoff and greeted right at the line of scrimmage. Leon Miller the carry, but a 2-yard loss is Calvin Pearson, who has had just a great year, the junior from Town Creek, Alabama.
Grambling defense realizes this is a quarterback, Quincy Richard, who 2 weeks ago was on the scout squad. He's starting his first game in a huge game in the Bayou Classic. They're coming after him to rattle him every play.
3rd and 12. Richard overthrows Devin Lewis, the intended receiver, but good coverage. Chris Brown right there with him, but more importantly, the pressure. So far, the offensive line for both teams having some problems.
So far, there hasn't been much offensive line at all. They'll get used to it, though. With all the blitzing from every direction, it takes a little while for your offense to get used to it, for your quarterback to settle down and let the adrenaline subside.
So, now come the punting unit. A little razzle-dazzle, but Francisco Villagrano again does the punting. Back to receive is Kendrick Shanklin, who has 2 touchdowns returned on punts this year. Lost the football. Did it go out of bounds? The officials. A 40-yard kick, and Shanklin, who's had such a great year, is still waiting for the official signal.
It's going to be Grambling ball.
There it is.
Must have gone out of bounds near that sideline. So Grambling gets a break.
So the Tigers will take over. And we'll take our first break. Kendrick Shanklin, one of the premier returners in Division I AA, puts a scare into his head coach Doug Williams. However, Grambling holds on. Grambling and Southern no score early in the first quarter. And this look behind the scenes of the Bayou Classic brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the Southwest Airlines Battle of the Bands. One of the many Bayou Classic traditions happened last night. The Friday night extravaganza here at the Superdome features round 1 of the Battle of the Bands, plus a fraternity sorority step competition. A little taste of what the fans got to see last night. And coming up at halftime, round 2 of the Battle of the Bands. Southwest Airlines proud to be the title sponsor of the Southwest Airlines Battle of the Bands.
Talent on the field, talent off the field, and on the stage.
This is not just a football game. This is a special weekend here in New Orleans. Grambling will take over at their own 40. Shanklin, who fumbles, splits out to the right. 4 wide receivers for Randy Himes. Himes will run it. Big hole for Randy Himes. Breaks some tackles across midfield. Down to the 30. Himes, touchdown. A 61-yard run for Randy Himes.
on a quarterback draw. Obviously, lots of pressure coming from the outside. Doug Williams and his staff read it. Randy Himes just took that ball right up the middle, and then he shows his athleticism and speed.
Not bad for your first run of the game.
Not bad at all. Take a look at this. Squeezes through the hole. A good block right in the middle by Matevia, the center Larry. And then Himes, a little Randy Moss at the end of this play, a little hot dogging. Not necessary, but touchdown, Grambling.
His 7th rushing touchdown. The extra point from Brian Morgan. And Grambling on the board first. That's
Not
their largest rush of the year, by the way, John.
Is that right? He can do it. He has 6 touchdowns already rushing, and he's just that kind of a threat. He's actually a threat as a receiver as well. He played a few games, but he can run the ball. His athleticism we talked about. He is a forward on the basketball team, the highest jumper on the basketball team. Competed in the triple jump Randy Himes did, was 4th in the state. And he gets some good blocking, a little help downfield from Chris Highshaw, and then a block.
Kendrick Shanklin, who of course made the almost fumbled the punt, makes that huge block and frees up Himes for the touchdown. Well, both these teams, especially Grambling, can be very explosive. Pretty quick scoring drive.
It's quick scoring drive, and it's a nightmare for Pete Richardson and his Southern team. They wanted to get out in front. They're a team that doesn't have much come from behind ability. We talked about the injury situation for Pete Richardson, and his philosophy is incredibly positive. He says, we don't care. You know, we'll replace people. It's the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Pete Richardson is living with that. He's going to have to prove it. They're down 7-0 early.
Ezra Landry is back deep, and Brian Morgan on for the kickoff. That's Brian Miner. Miner breaks a couple of tackles, gets up to the 32-yard line before a ball down. A 22-yard return. Byron Anderson on the tackle, and Southern will take over at about their own 32-yard line. All right, now let's send it down to Lewis Johnson.
Mike, thanks a lot. Randy here's talking to coaches, receiving congratulations from the players. Hey, Randy, real quick, when you pulled the ball down, what did you see that allowed you to take off like that and run for the touchdown?
My offensive line set up and called tiger, which is a quarterback draw. And the linebacker's in the middle of the field, so the line made the call, and we went with it.
And the importance of scoring first in this game where there's been a lot of talking, I guess, before the game started, huh?
I mean, you want to score first, you know, to keep the crowd out of it. You know, you got a lot of Southern fans here. You know, we come in the first drive, we didn't get it done, but the second drive, we got it done.
All right, grab a drink.
Mike, interesting. Lewis Johnson got that information. The offensive line called the quarterback draw.
Oh, and a big hit behind the line of scrimmage. Terrence Duke, and a loss of 3.
You know, the offensive line doesn't get a lot of credit, but they have a veteran offensive line, especially the center, Matevia. He called the play, and Himes did the rest with a great run.
So Dukes will make it a 2nd down and 10. He's perhaps the hardest hitter on this Grambling defense. So 2nd and 10 turns into 3rd and 13. Quincy Richard is having nightmares out there. Looks downfield. And someone didn't move. I think Kentrell Plain was the intended. Joubert was also in the vicinity. But as was Aaron Bridges. Bridges has been all over the place in the defensive backfield. And Southern will have to punt.
Problems at the quarterback position. We talked about it. The leader of this team, Pete Richardson's team, was Terrence Levy. He was hurt a few weeks ago. He's actually in uniform and it would be available in an emergency, but I don't know if that's going to be the case because so far Quincy Richard isn't doing anything at quarterback.
He certainly hasn't had any time. Villagrano gets it off with some pressure. Shanklin lets it bounce. And Grambling will take over at their own 31. Well, we talked so much about the Grambling offense. The Grambling defense very impressive here in the first quarter as the Tigers lead 7-0. 1998. That was the first year for head coach Doug Williams at Grambling. In his first Bayou Classic, Grambling led 14-3 at the break. But Southern exploded 23 unanswered in the second half. Then in 99, Grambling again goes up 31-10 at the half. But Southern again with a huge rally, 27 second half points. And another victory. Last year, 7 seconds left. Grambling a 2-point conversion would have tied it. But Edrice Brown sealing the victory for Southern. He took it the length of the field, and Doug Williams still looking for his first win at the Bayou. They've lost 8 in a row, although he says I can only take credit for 3.
He said he's +1 because he won 4 times as a player. He's lost 3 as a coach. He feels this is his year.
Himes has some time, lobs it downfield. Complete down to the 20-yard line. Levi Washington. Cody Smith on the stop. Kind of just threw it up for grabs, and Washington, who's 6'1", does a good job going up for it. A 49-yard hookup.
If you were coaching Rancine Himes now, you see the receivers out there, and look for Washington, number 28, going deep downfield. He actually is covered, but Cody Smith, the defensive back, does not react on the ball. And look at that. Washington just goes up and takes it away from him, blocks him with his body. But that was not a great play and a great throw. He just threw it up and let Washington do the rest.
Washington, their leading receiver. It's his 31st reception of the season. And now deep in Southern territory. Grambling a very good red zone offense. Quick throw intended for Alice Spears. But again, the pressure.
It's all Himes, and that surprised me a little bit because Brad Hill was a potential 1,000-yard rusher for Grambling, but it's simply Himes is the guy. Doug said it to us. I'll, spread the game out, spread the defense out, and let the magic loose in Randy Himes, and he will make things happen. He's done so far here today.
And just keep your eye on Levi Washington, number 28. He seems to shine in this game. He's been the MVP for Grambling each of the last 2 years of the Bayou Classic, as they have an MVP for both teams. Himes again, the pass to the end zone. Touchdown, Washington.
Oh, my.
Right on cue, Levi Washington, a 20-yard reception, and it's 13-0 Grambling.
I was going to say, let me look into your crystal ball. I wonder if Randy Himes has a receiver in his helmet. He saw that. 2 touchdowns 2 years ago. Last year, another big game. Levi Washington, the throw is beautiful. He's beaten defensive back, and it was a perfect throw is what it was.
Richard Gant just behind him. So Morgan will come on for the extra point. Flag thrown. But as we just talked about a couple of minutes ago, Grambling's had some first half leads. Southern certainly with some tricks up their sleeve. Pete Richardson certainly aware of that. And a penalty against Grambling, so they'll move it back on the extra point.
Brian Morgan, the kicking game. I mean, Doug Williams just feels about this team that they're complete. They have a kicker in Brian Morgan who is a terrific place kicker. He feels he finally has that. Thought he would have won the Bayou last year had he had a kicker like Morgan.
It's blocked.
I say that, and what happens is blocked.
They look like Kevin Moffitt. So it stays 13-0. The drive lasted just 38 seconds. The first drive was 11 seconds. Let's take a look at the block.
It's right up the middle. He just jumps over the back of the defense, and the ball must have been kicked low. It's
Richard Gant, who after just getting beat on the last play comes right back to block the extra point.
Boy, he elevates. Wow. Looks like he was a couple of feet off the ground.
Morgan, as good a field goal kicker as he's been, he's missed some extra points, and he's had some kicks blocked this year. And they're ready for Levi Washington. Washington, the senior out of Tallulah, Louisiana, hooking up with Randy Himes. By the way, that was Washington's 10th touchdown reception of the season.
But I love when Doug Williams was telling us about Brian Morgan. When Morgan sent him that tape, he looked at it before the tape was finished. He got out of his seat, picked up the phone, called Morgan and said, wow, we'd love to have you here at Grambling. And the freshman has done a terrific job.
He sent tapes to about 50 or 60 schools. Didn't get many responses. Ezra Landry back at his own 5, gets a good running start. And gets knocked down at about the 27-yard line. Fred Wicker on the tackle, 21-yard return.
But Doug said when he saw Morgan on tape, he called him right away and said, hey, please come down, take a look, and come here with your father. He was so excited about it, and the rest is history.
Here's Quincy Richard. They have -3 total yards, Southern, so far. This was after the last drive.
And obviously Terrence Levy, the experienced senior, the actual starter, is trying to help Richard, saying, settle down, kid.
Good pitch to Leon Miller. Miller gets maybe 4 yards. Dante Newell on the stop.
You know, they don't have a running game, Southern, and I don't mean to demean them, but they have so many injuries. I mean, there was something like 7 starters that are out, and they just, their best running back and their leading rusher was Jeremy Williams. He's hurt, as is Levy, as is their starting quarterback, Grambling and Michael Hayes on the outside is injured as well.
7 offensive starters. Richard was looking to go long, but Devin Lewis did not go long, and there you see all the injuries. And again, the majority of these players are starters.
This guy was Michael Hayes, would have given him some offensive punch, and he'd been around 1,000-yard receiver, ability to go deep. He got hurt early, first game as a matter of fact, had 1 catch for the season. He's out, along with all of the other injuries.
3rd down and 6, so you have a number of 2nd and 3rd teamers starting in the most important game, but they somehow patch it together and continue to win. Richard avoids 2 defenders and gets knocked down at about the 33, still shy of the first down. About a 3-yard pickup. Robert Taylor and Andre Arnold on the tackle.
And this is a nice run by the young quarterback, but remember, he's a 3rd-string quarterback in here trying to get the job done. Hard enough to find depth at any level, Mike, but in Division I AA, it's particularly difficult. So I think Pete Richardson has done an incredible job to keep this team competitive.
Villagrano. It's off a beautiful kick this time. And Shanklin calls a fair catch at the 28-yard line. A 39-yard kick, no return. The experienced quarterback still helping out the young sophomore. It's been all Grambling thus far.
Grambling quarterback Randy Himes just does it all. Reminds me a little of a Donovan McNabb or a Steve McNair. I mean, he can throw the ball. Not a real disciplined thrower yet, but boy, can he run and take off and make things happen.
One thing Doug Williams says, what makes him mad about Randy Himes, is that he never gets mad, Himes. Comes over to the sideline, Williams will be hollering at him. Himes never changes his expression. Very mature quarterback in his senior year out of Hitchcock, Texas. Back in the shotgun. Throws it and complete to Chris Eishaw, who gets up to about the 33-yard line, maybe about a 4-yard pickup.
You know, it was interesting talking to Doug Williams about Randy Himes was that he had a dilemma as to whether to use him at wide receiver, because Himes is probably the best wide receiver on this Grambling team, and his future in professional football actually might be at the wide receiver slot. He's 6'4", 200 pounds, 210 pounds. He might be a receiver in the pros.
He hasn't conceded that yet. He still has hopes of playing quarterback in the NFL, but just such a talented athlete. He's starting forward for the basketball team at Grambling. 2nd and 6. More pressure. Himes excellent at getting away. Fires it downfield. Complete. Ellis Pierce. Touchdown Grambling. They're starting to pour it on. 67-yard hookup.
Escapability, you need it as a quarterback, whether it's in college or the pros. And look at that throw on the run. The ball is in the air about 55, 60 yards. Ellis Spears takes the catch. And I don't know what Cody Smith was thinking of. If you're a defensive back, you know once the quarterback starts to run, you can't come up. You got to stay back.
Speaking of getting away from the pressure, yesterday when we talked to Randy Himes, we asked him what's the biggest improvement he made this year. He said avoiding sacks. He's been under pressure the entire afternoon thus far, but he gets away. He now has thrown for 2 and rushed for 1 touchdown.
Now, if I'm defensive back, watch the defensive back top of the screen right there. Cody Smith, he bites on a fake. And if you're playing defensive back correctly, you should be able to see through the receiver and see the quarterback. Quarterback was under pressure. He was not ready to throw on that stop move, so you don't give it any credibility. You just stay deep. Cody Smith did not do that. Touchdown, Grambling.
Williams is so fond of Randy Himes.
Oh, yes.
Himes says Williams has taught him so much.
And Williams, I mean, the admiration he has for his quarterback says Randy Himes doesn't know how good he is yet. And Pete Richardson, I mean, he's been climbing that uphill battle all year. And, I mean, Doug Williams just believes this is his year.
That drive took all of 56 seconds. The first one took 11 seconds. The second one took 8 seconds. They could put points on the board in a hurry. And it's 20-0.
If you play this kind of defense, blitzing and gambling, you're putting the corners and these safeties one-on-one with receivers. Himes has taken advantage of it. 2 touchdowns.
Grambling dominating thus far. Ezra Landry trying to find some room. Doesn't find it there. And it's finally taken down at about the 21-yard line. Good pursuit. Byron Anderson and Reginald Prelo in on the tackle. And Southern desperately needs something to happen offensively.
And talking to Pete Richardson, he said the formula to try to win this Classic, which would be the 9th in a row for Southern, was simply keep it close. Don't turn the ball over. Play conservative offense. Hope your defense can hold a high-powered Grambling. Keep it close late and maybe steal it. That hasn't happened.
Richard comes back out. Byron Minor the lone setback. Richard has had to go into the shotgun because of all the pressure. Passing on first down under pressure again. Taken down hard. He just has no room whatsoever. Antoine Lawrence on the sack.
One of the problems for a young quarterback is obviously reading a defense and dealing with pressure. Antoine Lawrence comes free late, and then Richard takes a big hit. And I'll make another point after this play, Mike, about the young quarterback.
Quick throw, complete. Devin Lewis with his first reception. Up at about the 28-yard line. Calvin Spears on the tackle.
Mike, you see the Southern offense. It's a no huddle, spread them out, racehorse, fast break offense. And when you don't have a huddle, you don't have time to settle down. And certainly Richard hasn't. And you have to wonder if Terrence Levy, warming up on the sidelines, will be used. He's got that left knee, which he heard about 3 weeks ago. Practiced a little bit during this week, but not much.
3rd and 5. Richard, quick throw. Chris Brown with a terrific tackle. Joubert made the reception, but Brown would not let him get it near the first down marker. And it appears another 4th down coming up. 3-yard pickup.
But I'm saying when you have this kind of an offense, it's tough for a young quarterback, the sophomore Richard, his first start, to get things in order because the game is so fast. The blitz is all over you. You don't have time to come back in a huddle and talk because Pete Richardson doesn't believe in a huddle. He just believes in open it up and run the 2-minute drill the entire game.
Villagrano will go out. Villagrano has had a couple of punts blocked this year. Short kick takes a good bounce for Southern. Shanklin trying to get some room. The stiff arm will not work. And he's thrown out of bounds. 42-yard kick and a 6-yard return. I want to remind you to log on to NBCSports.com for much more on college football. Get the latest scores and news, plus check out a special interactive that analyzes the Heisman contenders and lets you vote on your choice for the award. It's all at NBCSports.com. Crazy day in college football yesterday.
Boy, wasn't it? Who could you believe that game on Nebraska-Colorado? Wow, what a shocker.
Well, last 3 times Grambling has had the ball, they've scored in a hurry. It's 20-0 with 5:15 remaining in the first quarter. Now, this is Southern defense that had been playing very, very well. And a penalty marker.
Southern has to hope for penalties, mistakes, because the scoring possessions are so short. 1 play, 61 yards. 3 plays, 69. 2 plays, 71 yards. 3 touchdowns.
That's all. Ball start. Offense, 5 yards. Repeat, first down.
They have to hope that somehow Grambling self-destructs, maybe get some turnovers. And Doug Williams' teams didn't do that. They're plus 12 in turnovers this year, where Southern's minus 4. So Grambling is in command early.
5 wide receivers out there for Randy Himes. Quick throw, complete. Washington again. And he's taken down at about the 35-yard line. Robert Chapman on the tackle after the 8-yard pickup. For more on the Southern defense and their woes this afternoon, let's go to Lewis Johnson.
Yeah, Mike, woes might be the right word. When the Southern defense came off the field a few moments ago, I mean, they were just unraveling. Number 51, the linebacker, Shannon Smith, he just sort of went ballistic over there. The coaches had to settle him down and get him to calm down. But really what he was trying to do was get his players, his teammates, to try and focus more and stop this offensive onslaught that Grambling is putting on. Let's see if it works.
Well, Lewis, they're a very proud defense, but right now having their problems, to say the least. 2nd and 7. Himes, quick throw. Shanklin gets the first down across the 45 up to about the 47-yard line. Chris Cooper, the middle linebacker, on the tackle.
And Doug Williams and Randy Himes love Kendrick Shanklin because he's that, he's small. He's 5'9", 175 pounds, but he's got that kind of work done type of quickness after he catches the ball. You saw some of it there, comes close to the first down.
The senior from Baton Rouge.
He gets the first down, excuse me.
He's a transfer from Kentucky, Shanklin. Doug Williams says he's a very smart player. Amazing that score so early, considering, again, the Southern defense and the way they played. Part of their 4-game winning streak coming in. Himes has completed his last 5 passes. A break on the ground, but Shanklin gets across midfield to the 49. A 5-yard pickup. Chris Cooper with another tackle. Herman Hartman helping out as well. And Shanklin maybe shaken up a little bit.
Shanklin hasn't run the ball that much this year, but coming into the game, he carried it 21 times. He was averaging 7.5 yards a carry. He's got that kind of quickness and speed.
2nd and 5. A rare running play for the Grambling Tigers. The Doug Williams of old showing his colors.
Oh!
Nice play fake. Himes going long for Washington. He's got it! What a catch from Levi Washington! Yards. His 2nd TD catch of the day. Himes' 3rd TD throw of the day, and it's still the first quarter.
Boy, he left some air up for that one so the receiver could run underneath it. And, it was Moffitt, defensive back. Looked like there might have been a little pushing off by Washington around the 20-yard line. It was not called. Another touchdown, Graham.
How'd you like to have Washington's numbers? 126 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns, and you have it in less than a quarter.
He's looking for his 3rd MVP in the Bayou Classic. Look at that. 4 for 122. Wow. He might have done a little pushing off down around the 20.
Turn this away. Turn this away.
But he got away with it.
All Southern fans go home. As you all y'all go.
He's a little out of breath. I don't blame him. He has come up big in this Bayou Classic. The last
See right there, a little left arm push off. And then the ball is beautifully thrown. Nice concentration by Washington. Tough catching it over your shoulder. He watched the ball all the way for the touchdown.
And that was one of those very long drive, Johns. 1:36.
All right. Moffitt did not have bad coverage, a defensive back. It was just the ball was so well thrown. For a young quarterback to air it out like that and throw it over the top, give your receiver a chance to go and get it. Randy Himes is developing as a quarterback.
Look how calm he was, meanwhile, at the other end. And it's a rough one for Kevin Moffitt and the Southern defense. Himes has been near perfect.
And one of the raps that Doug Williams said was on Himes that he was run too much east and west. That's why he was sacked so many times last year. This year, he only has about 4 sacks. He's maturing as a quarterback.
The extra point is good. And remember, Himes, a few games ago, he was put on not necessarily the bench, because he wasn't playing well at the quarterback position. They needed a receiver, but he missed 2 games at the quarterback. Bruce Eugene came in, but now it's all Randy Himes. 27-0. The Tigers trying to snap an 8-game losing streak to the Jaguars in complete control. Randy Himes, 224 yards passing. He's thrown 3 deep passes. He's rushed for another. What a performance from the Grambling quarterback as they lead 27-0. Then you look at the other sideline, and it has been just a horrible start for Southern. And the sophomore Quincy Richard has not had any time to throw. He's been under pressure every second he's had the ball, and it looks like he might be coming out of the game because the senior Terrence Levy, who strained his left knee, the ligaments, back on October the 27th, came back to practice this week for the first time. And every day got a little bit better, a little more mobility, but he has certainly come through in the Bayou Classic. The short kick fielded at about the 36-yard line and knocked out of bounds is Lenny Williams.
Terrence Levy, you mentioned it in 1999, Mike. Wow, he brought his team back from a 21-point deficit to beat Grambling. Last year, incredible stats. You know, over 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, Terrence Levy can get it done. They talked about him this week. Didn't practice that much. Pete Richardson's told us he's about maybe 70%. Tough spot for the senior quarterback, but he is the leader of this team.
He's from New Orleans, and he has shined in New Orleans here at the Bayou Classic. Quick throw is complete to Miller, and Miller gets up to the 43-yard line. Now, Richard is obviously a very talented young quarterback, but under this pressure and with the defense bearing down on him, an experienced quarterback is so important. But you can see even there was a slight limp for Levy.
Slight limp and a smart throw to get himself warmed up. Throw it short, try to move the chains. Remember, he has no runners and no run game, so it's all through the air or nothing.
5 wide receivers for Levy. Little pump fake. Looks downfield. Some miscommunication with him and Devin Lewis. Chris Brown on the coverage. Brown has done an excellent job.
I mean, pressure. They're going to let him know, hey, guess what? You're the big hero the last 2 years. Well, take this. Bingo. I mean, that's Calvin Pearson, the safety, coming in on the blitz. And Doug Williams says pound for pound, he's as good, as big a hitter as they have on that team.
And on Levy, you can just see on the replay, he just can't plant properly with that left knee. The fact that he's even playing surprised a lot of people that he came back so quickly from the injury. Under fire and taken down. Another sack. Calvin Pearson with his 3rd sack of the season on an 11-yard loss. And that's where the lack of mobility will hurt.
And he is a fairly mobile quarterback, obviously. I mean, it's a tough position for the coach. Watch Levy here, right? Tries to scramble out to the right side. Had a little bit of time. He needs to use some judgment and get rid of the ball, throw it away, and don't take a sack.
So the punting unit will come on once again. Pellegrino, very busy man. It's his 5th punt, and it's smart. You have to look up at the scoreboard to remind yourself this is still the first quarter. Shanklin fields it at the 32, the fair catch. A 36-yard punt and no return. And the Southern defense has to come back on the field once again. And this coach's moment is brought to you by Ford Outfitters. No boundaries. Doug Williams, in his first year, said he took his lumps. 3-8 was Eddie Robinson's final year, then 5-6, 7-4. He said we saw light at the end of the tunnel. Last year, a SWAC championship, and this year perhaps not only a SWAC championship, but a victory over the Southern. And that's Brad Hill straight up the middle.
Brad who?
I just say that's a running back.
It's a running back. Is that the running back who got 100 yards in the first 5 games of the season for Grambling? Where has he been? obviously Doug Williams, you know, when you get in big games and tight situations, you go back to what took you to the dance, and that's throwing the ball for Doug Williams. Obviously a great quarterback at Grambling and later in the NFL.
2nd and 7 after Hill's 3-yard pickup. Himes, incomplete, intended for Ellis Spears. So a 3rd down coming up. Spears, another senior. These seniors for Grambling have been 0-3 against Southern. They've had some great moments in their careers at Grambling, but they've never tasted victory over their rivals. And that's all they could talk about yesterday when we spoke to Spears and some of his teammates. As much as the SWAC title meant so much, there was something missing because they had lost to Southern the week before. Himes will run. Still on his feet. And taken down at the 42. Very close to a 1st down, but there's a penalty marker. Michael Landry with good pursuit. And will go against Grambling, so they'll bring it back. A holding penalty. Jimmy Jones, our referee. So they'll walk it back with 1:02 remaining here in this 1st quarter. Everything has gone Doug Williams' way.
Holding. Offense. 10 yards from the start of the foul. We repeat, 3rd down.
You know what the sense, you get a sense of this. I mean, this is for young players. See how calm he is and cool he is. He's not rushing things. Last year, he'd rush his throws. He wouldn't be able to find receivers. He'd rush on the run. Here, he just waits for things to happen and then makes a good game, even though it was erased by a penalty.
Because he's been, certainly not as much as the Southern quarterbacks, but he's been under pressure himself. It's just he's got a great ability to get away. Fires downfield. Looks like it's complete at the 46. A good catch from Tremone Douglas. And another 1st down for Grambling, a 27-yard connection. Herman Hartman on the tackle, but not before the big pickup.
Good arm strength. Watch him roll out, Himes, right? He's on the run, doesn't stop, but gets that ball to his receiver, Douglas, before he goes out of bounds. You have to put a little juice on that. He did. Defensive back just over the defensive back, Lenny Williams. No, it was over Griffin. And for the completion in the 1st down.
Douglas, a sophomore wide receiver who Doug Williams is very high on. He's going to lose a couple of his receivers this year, a couple of seniors. Douglas will have a prominent role next season. 1st and 10, they're at the Southern 46. Hill on the handoff and gets knocked backwards. Michael Landry and Herman Hartman on the hit after a 5-yard gain.
Brad Hill, it was nice talking to him yesterday when he was talking about being the baby bus and how much it's meant to Grambling. He said, yeah, I'm like Ron Dane. I'm a little like Jerome Bettis. You know, I can get it done on the ground. I like to run over people. Of course, today, Brad Hill has had very little opportunity to do anything.
Because of the brilliant play from quarterback Randy Himes. A near perfect 1st period for the Grambling Tigers. Trying to snap the 8-game losing streak to their rivals. Bragging rights is defined by this rivalry. Southern's had it the past 8 years, but Grambling with a convincing 27-0 lead after 1. We'll be right back after these words from your local station. Louisiana Super Dome, the nightmare 1st quarter is over for Southern. As Grambling out to a 27-0 lead thanks to the brilliant play of Randy Himes. And look at some of those numbers, John Dockery.
No, folks, it's not a typographical error. Those total yards, 332 for Grambling, 5 yards total for Southern, -12 rushing. I mean, Himes has been incredible. No,
Southern has the ball more, but is down 27-0. Our stats today brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light, frost brewed, real smooth, which is what Grambling has been. And the Tigers 2nd and 5 at the Southern's 41. Again, they stay on the ground. Down to about the 32. Chris Cooper in on the tackle of Brad Hill. 9-yard pickup, so another first down.
It's been all Randy Himes' time. Maybe Brad Hill will get a shot, but look at this. I don't remember Doug Williams having a Bayou like this. Passing 251 yards, 3 touchdowns, folks, 3 touchdowns, and then he ran for another. Just, you know, hey, put a little topping on it. I wonder if they'll put him at wide receiver and let him get a touchdown there before it's over.
He can do that as well. He's just such a tremendous athlete. Brad Hill down to about the 28-yard line. Travis Dorsey and Chris Cooper on the stop. About a almost 5-yard pickup.
Well, he played wide receiver. Randy Himes did a couple of weeks ago, and when they, you know, when Bruce Eugene came in at quarterback, they had a little trouble with the wide receiver. Caught a cool 9 passes for 145 yards.
In his first start at wide receiver.
Yes. And 2 Bayou Classics ago, he had 2 touchdowns. I mean, you talk about a versatile, talented athlete. That's Randy Himes.
There is a void to fill when he leads Grambling.
Yes.
Hill the lone setback, 2nd and 5 now for Grambling. Himes nearly picked off, intended for Ellis Spears. Cody Smith that time with some very strong defense.
Cody Smith has had a rough afternoon. He's been beaten a few times. What happened that time is Himes had him right now. Held the ball a little too long. It allowed Smith to get some reaction time and come over the top of Spears and knock it away. Spears was open. Actually looked like he was going back to the corner, so there might have been a little mix-up there, too.
3rd and 5. Grambling actually punted the first time they had the football and then just went on this scoring binge. Southern needs something positive like a stop here on 3rd down. Himes under pressure. Oh! Overthrow Tremone Douglas, who would have had an easy touchdown. A rare mistake from Randy Himes, although he was under pressure.
Douglas was so wide open. Randy Himes said, well, wait a minute. I mean, you know, he was just open right over the middle. They're using those 5 wide receivers. Smith got a little pressure on Himes, but look at this. It's just overthrown. He's wide open down the middle, not a white shirt near him.
Arthur Smith with some good pressure. So now a field goal attempt for Brian Morgan, who has 16 field goals. This one is a 46-yarder. His long this season is 49. No good. It stays 27-0. So Morgan shouting over what could have gone wrong. He's had a terrific year. A freshman from Texas.
Before that kick, he was 16 of 21. That's 76%. Morgan has been a big part of this Grambling success this year.
Don't forget, tomorrow at 4 Eastern, the world's best cowboys. They're one of nature's fiercest beasts. 2,000 pounds of fire-breathing bull. Live at the Bud Light World Professional Bull Riding Challenge. That's tomorrow at 4 Eastern on NBC. So Southern trying to get something going offensively. They have really struggled. And Terrence Levy's come in as the backup quarterback to Quincy Richard, the sophomore who had no time to throw. Jaguars in a 27-0 hole. Levy looks downfield and overthrows. Drayton Bridges, the intended receiver. Chris Brown again, good coverage. Let's go down to Lewis Johnson.
Mike, I was watching Terrence Levy while he was on the bench over here just to see if he would show any favoritism to that right knee. You know, he has a brace on it under his pants, but he didn't. I watched him closely. He didn't talk to the trainer, so that may be a small spark for Southern's offense if he can finally get things rolling.
Any spark would help it, Lewis. I mean, I don't know if Levy's going to be able to get it done. He's smarter in getting rid of the ball in a hurry and finding the right receiver.
Has some protection, complete. Devin Lewis catches it up at about the 39. That should be good for a first down. Alvin Spears, the quick hit.
A rare first down, if it indeed is a first down.
And as you mentioned, John, anything positive right now for the Southern offense? Levy's got a good, strong arm. He had some problems early in the season. He threw a lot of interceptions. 15 interceptions in the first 6 games. Well, then we're starting to really come on prior to the knee injury. They get the first down and nearly blow the handoff. So Levy with some problems that time, and a second down coming up. Robert Taylor with the play defensively. 2-yard loss.
A little problem with the snap. And this is what you don't want an injured quarterback to have. They twist him around on that sore knee. I mean, you talk about getting another injury right there.
So stays in the shotgun. Big rush. Gets the pass complete to Minor. Minor breaks a couple of tackles and gets up to about the 44-yard line. 7-yard gain. And a third down and about 5 coming up. Terrence Dukes in on the tackle.
And just so many injuries at that running back position. From Jeremy Williams was their leading rusher. Carl Singleton a knee. Cisco Perkins out. I mean, just so many people injured for Southern offense.
Big pressure. Lewis has it. Strip fumble. It looks like Grambling got it. Aaron Bridges, who's been around the football every second he's been on there, trying to pounce on it. Taylor again with the big play, and Grambling will take over. It just continues to snowball the wrong way for Southern.
Lewis trying to get that little bit of extra yardage, coughs it up, and as you mentioned, Bridges with the recovery.
Taylor forcing the fumble. That's the 4th forced fumble for him this season. He has been a magnificent player from Grambling defensively this year. And Lewis trying to get that first down, had it knocked out of his arms. They take over at the Southern 43. Again, avoids. Himes tripped up at about the 40. Cody Smith coming up after a 3-yard pickup. And there's Robert Taylor, a 6'3" senior from Birmingham, Alabama.
I'm coming.
Williams says he's mean as a junkyard dog on the field. He's become a real leader for this team.
I am, but all
And he's a big pro prospect. He's one of those big hitters. He likes the giant linebackers of old. Lawrence Taylor, Carl Banks. Remember him talking and saying, hey, I'm a blue-collar tough guy. I like mean, hard-hitting linebackers.
2nd and 7. Still early second quarter. Grambling has shocked all the Southern fans with this offensive show in that first quarter. Himes this time can't get away. Michael Landry nearly in the grasp.
Last year, Randy Himes would have taken a sack. You mentioned he had probably 35 of those last year. This year, very few. That time, he escaped the grasp from Landry, rolled out a little more, and tried to get the completion, even though, and if he didn't get a completion, he's just going to throw an incompletion and avoid the sack. And he's done that all season long. Major improvement over last year.
3rd and 7 now coming up for the Tigers. And the winner of this game takes the Western Division title of the Southwestern Athletic Conference and goes on to play Alabama State in the SWAC championship next week in Birmingham. Grambling calls a timeout as Southern tries to regroup.
You can call this the Mike Phillips.
State Farm Bayou Classic is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of the Bayou Classic. By Southwest Airlines, the low fare leader for 30 years. By Protection by Tampax. And by State Farm, proud title sponsor of the 2001 Bayou Classic. And this Bayou Classic has been all Grambling. Tigers right now with a 3rd and 7 on Southern 40-yard line. Shotgun for Himes. Fakes the handoff. Again, avoids the sack. Chased. Got the first down at about the 30-yard line. Terrific effort from Randy Himes. Terrence Arnold finally getting it out, but not before they move the chains.
And you can't coach that kind of quarterback talent. It just has to be instinctive. And Randy Himes has that. Watch here. The rush is on. Gets Davis comes from the outside. And then they try to contain him, but no. And then watch the end of the play. He stretches out because he knows where the first down marker is and picks that up. I mean, did everything right.
And we played a little over a quarter.
That's a season.
They can't stretch enough. It's coming against a terrific defense. Southern's defense is a big reason why they've won 4 in a row. Takes the handoff to Shanklin, completes it to Ellis Spears. And about the 22-yard line, Spears telling us yesterday that he was born in September and went to his first Bayou Classic at 2 months in November and has been to every single Bayou Classic since then as a spectator for every year he's been here. And as he was growing up, Spears is from Zachary, Louisiana. He was a big Southern fan for all the years until he finally came and played for Grambling. His dad played Pee Wee football with Doug Williams when they were kids. So when Doug Williams said that Ellis was old enough, let's get him to Grambling and change his allegiances.
Granger, the senior, has yet to win a Bayou Classic. This will be his first if it stays like this.
Shanklin. Hendrick Shanklin gets around the corner and knocked out of bounds at about the 8-yard line. Zachary Williams, one of those chasing him out, a 14-yard pickup.
And the big smile on Doug Williams' face yesterday when he says, "Oh, you'll see number 6 all over the place." I said, "Oh, he's a little small to be in the backfield." He'll be in the backfield. He'll be in the slot. He's just so quick that he will get yardage when there is no yardage around. Hendrick Shanklin right there.
Shanklin, they talk about his NFL potential as a punt returner. And he's got 2 returns for touchdowns this year. He's 5'9", 175-pound senior. So first and goal. Himes. Intercepted. And he's got room to go. Cody Smith down the sideline. Highshaw in pursuit. Oh, what a touchdown for Cody Smith on the interception. '94-yard return. And that has awakened the Southern fans. His 4th interception of the season, the junior from New Orleans.
And watch this. He just battles Highshaw. Right here, battling for the ball. Little behind the receiver. Cody Smith rips it away. Remember, Cody Smith has been victimized for a couple of touchdown passes. This gets a little satisfaction back as he races down the sidelines for a touchdown.
The extra point is good. And you see some bounce in the steps of the Southern players. Remember, they've overcome some huge deficits to win the Bayou Classic, as Doug Williams not happy, obviously, at all with Highshaw.
Doug Williams told us yesterday he wasn't happy with the production from Highshaw and Anderson at that wide receiver spot. Highshaw not aggressive enough coming back to that ball. Or you might say that Cody Smith was very aggressive, rips it away from him, and then it's just a foot race down the sidelines. Smith wins it. Touchdown, Southern. The fans have come alive. They were dozing off there.
That's just a matter of he simply wanted that ball more.
Yes. I mean, you could say, if you wanted to, that the ball was not perfectly thrown. It could have been a little more on the outside. But still, the receiver, Highshaw, had a real shot at it. Cody Smith just came, took it away. Much more physical, the defensive back was.
Can it be the momentum turner that Southern has had so many of those kind of plays in the Bayou Classic in overcoming big deficits? Well, it's certainly stopped the snowball from continuing downhill for the Jaguars. The Lograno will kick off a poor kick fielder at the 32-yard line by Marcus Yanez, the punter. And Grambling will take over with good field position. But a little different atmosphere right now for Pete Richardson and his team.
What they need now is another turnover. And as I mentioned earlier, Grambling is stingy with them, but Pete Richardson simply has to get his defense, which is the heart of this game, and which, if they have any shot, is going to have to step up. They have to get another turnover, fumble, another interception, something. Come after Himes, get him out of his rhythm.
For Himes, that was his 10th interception of the season. And again, as a senior, you talk so much about his poise, John. That's another thing he's been able to do this year. He has a bad play here or there. He's been able to bounce back for it. Let's see how he responds here. Ball at their own 31. Shanklin had it and dropped it.
Fumble? No.
Incomplete.
No, okay.
Chris Cooper, who's been very aggressive defensively, trying to keep Southern charged up.
Now, Shanklin's a small guy, and here it may have heard some footsteps. And Cooper is big and tough and obviously animated and exciting. He feels they have a shot, but, I mean, this drive is critical. If you can continue momentum, get the ball back, maybe your injured quarterback, Terrence Levy, makes something happen for Southern, you might have a shot to get back in this game.
DJ Clay and Byron Brown have come in. 5 receivers for Grambling on 2nd and 10. Himes, a little screen pass to Brown. Brown across the 35 up to about 38-yard line. Be about 2 or 3 yards shy of the first down. Jonathan Ford on the tackle.
Nice call. A terrific call. If Brown kept his feet, he would have easily had the first down, but he slips on the turf. The blitz is coming. Himes has been throwing the ball almost every play. Screen pass. Excellent call.
Now here's a big play, John, because again, you have Grambling just blowing out Southern. Finally, something for the Jaguars to cheer about. 27-7. Now they need to stop, get the football back. It's 3rd down and 5.
And you have no choice. If you're Southern defense, you have to come after this quarterback, because if you allow him to stand there, Doug Williams wants a timeout.
That's their 2nd timeout. Williams perhaps sensing the importance right now of making sure the momentum doesn't continue for Southern. And we'll take a break. Just over 7.5 remaining here in the 2nd quarter. The Bayou Classic. Southern trying to get back into the game. Pete Richardson has seen his team come back in this game before. Richardson played college ball at the University of Dayton, was a starting player for the Buffalo Bills, starting defensive back, in a timeout call now by Southern. But he is perfect in this game.
Little cat and mouse with the coaches. You know, Doug Williams calls a timeout previously, perhaps wanting to slow down the momentum a little bit, and Pete Richardson says, okay, we see what they want to do. We saw the formation, and now we call a timeout. Bayou Classic, he's never lost in this. He's 8-0, and that includes some Eddie Robinson and the last 3 against Doug Williams. So he is a dominant force here, Pete Richardson.
He said, though, he's never had a season like this with so many injuries on the offensive end. Last year, the defense was banged up. But when you have 7 offensive starters down at one point, and the majority of your skill position players are backups and even some 3rd string, he kept it together. They were 3-3. And the idea of playing for a SWAC title seemed a long shot back then, but the team really held together. Obviously, the defense came through, and they've won 4 in a row, including one of their victories this year was against Alabama State, the one team to beat Grambling. And that's the team that the winner of this one will play for the SWAC championship next week in Birmingham. So a 3rd down and 5 for Grambling, trying to squash any momentum that Southern got from that interception return. Himes all by himself in the backfield. High snap, he's going to run. And it looks like he's shy of the first down.
It's awful close.
Chris Cooper again in on the tackle with Jonathan Ford. And Michael Landry in the pack as well, so it's going to be about a yard short.
Yep. And interesting, where do they go when they need it? They obviously go to their quarterback, Randy Himes, but this time it doesn't work for Doug Williams.
Marcus Yana is out to punt for just the 2nd time. Ezra Landry, the sophomore from New Orleans, back to receive. 7 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. Grambling jumped out to a 27-0 lead. And then the big play from Cody Smith, the 94-yard interception return to get Southern on the board. Nice kick from Yanez. Fair catch from Landry at about the 22-yard line. So a 39-yard kick. No return. Southern will try and strike again, trailing 27-7. You think the football game's intense? Same thing at halftime. With more on that, we go to Lewis Johnson.
That's right, Mike. They're getting ready down here. I'm with the Grambling State drum major, Dre Navarro. Dre, we know the coaches talk to the players before they get ready to do their thing. How about you as the head drum major? Have you talked with the band before halftime?
Well, we actually talked to the band throughout the whole season for this game. You know, this is like the game we actually getting ready for. It's kind of finishes our season unless we win. But, you know, we got the dome, the people. This is the biggest game we have the whole season. So we talk to the band, you know, every game. Every game we get better for this game.
Hey, Dre, you were telling me that you've been in the band 5 years and you've been the drum major 2 years. What is the competition like to be the head drum major for this school, especially with this type of a rivalry on the field?
Well, this is a very famous and, you know, prestigious school, so you got to live up to that standard. Also, you got to be able to relate to the band and the band directors, you know, be the liaison between both.
Who's going to win the competition?
Say it again?
Who's going to win the competition?
Oh, who already won the competition? That's the question.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so, hey, Mike, maybe that explains who won the pregame show as well as who's going to win the halftime thing.
All right, Lewis, the key in the battle of the bands is take it one song at a time. We actually have an injury now down on the field. Gary Jenkins, the junior left tackle, shaken up.
Southern can ill afford to lose Gary Jenkins, big run player, 6'3", almost 300 pounds, most versatile offensive lineman they have.
He had a pinched nerve in his neck earlier this season and was out a little bit. But as you said, John, he's such an important part of that offensive line.
Checking that left leg knee. But those last two plays, you saw a little bit of life in the Southern offense as it was Brian Miner. You know, hasn't played at all. Last week he got his first playing times, Byron Miner, and against Prairie View, and got his first touchdown. Before that, he'd been on the team for some 4 years. Finally got an opportunity and is making the most of it with all the injuries at running back for Southern.
So Jenkins, the junior, able to get up and walk off on his own, which is usually a good sign. He is a mountain on that offensive line for Southern. Another one from New Orleans. They've got 25 players on Southern from New Orleans. It's a 3rd and 1. Big play straight up. I don't know if he got it. Leon Miller trying to get the first down. And it appears a little bit short. Nope. First down.
First down. They went off the right side of that line behind Larry Harold, big tackle over there. He's just like Jenkins, 6'3", 290, a senior. He led the way.
Now they're going to check where the spot of the ball is. Does not appear. The referee, Jimmy Jones, signaled first down, but I think they're going to have to measure this one. He doesn't look it.
Certainly Pete Richardson could use a break here. I mean, if they can keep this drive going, maybe get a touchdown before the half, they might start Grambling and Doug Williams thinking, uh-oh, not another comeback at the Bayou Classic.
All right, John, does he dare go for it on 4th down if they're just short? Really?
Yes, why not?
This early in the game and this far back?
Yes. You know why? Because he has no offense. All his players are hurt. His defense is struggling. Boy, that's a big, okay, that's a full yard and maybe a yard and a half. Makes me think twice, but you know what? If I were the coach, I would go for it. You got to make something happen. You got to get something going.
And he will.
You're being beaten to death here. You might as well try to get something positive going.
Byron Miner, the setback.
Fakes, okay.
Yep, so he's going to bring out Villagrano to punt it. 6th punt of the first half. Just gets it off. Spears hit back at the 19-yard line. Randy Williams with the big hit, a 45-yard punt, and nowhere to go. Good pursuit from Randy Williams, the junior from Brandon, Mississippi. And Spears sent flying. Grambling takes over when we return. Williams with the big hit on the attempted punt return. And Grambling takes over. First and 10 at their own 24. They'll go on the ground. Shanklin with a big hole. Shanklin still going and brought down at about the 48-yard line. Terrific run. Robert Chapman finally brings him down, but not before a 23-yard pickup.
Well-designed play. If you notice, the fullback, Jadal Lawrence, number 45, was in motion, and watch the block he gets down inside. He actually didn't get much, but then he comes back, and the rest was done by Shanklin. A beautiful run.
So Grambling back up near midfield. The second quarter has been Grambling's big quarter by far. As you see Shanklin's numbers, they have just obliterated their opponents in the second quarter. They certainly did that in the first quarter of this game. Shanklin again has room, cuts inside, and gets close to a first down at about the 42. Jakari Williams on the stop, 9-yard pickup.
A subtle change in the offensive strategy for Doug Williams. He's using his fullback, 5'11", 235-pound Jadal Lawrence, to lead the play for Shanklin. Lawrence again with a good block, leading away for 9-yard gain.
Coming up on 4 minutes remaining here in this first half. Doug Williams' team just stormed out of the gates. And he would love to see another score. He's seen too many second half comebacks from Southern. Brad Hill, really nowhere to go that time. Maybe a yard. Shannon Smith in on the tackle.
Well, there's 3.5 minutes left in the first half. Doug Williams is ahead 27-7. He's simply saying now, we're going to just beat him up. It's like a boxer. We're going to work him to the body. We're going to take some of their resolve out as Jenkins leaves the field. So that's why he has his running game, and that's why he has the fullback in there. That's why Brad Hill ran that ball trying to pick up the first down. Takes time off the clock. He hopes to win at least 27-7 or possibly put another score or a field goal on the board.
3rd and 1. Hines himself. It all depends on where they spot it. He should have it by his forward motion. Kentrell Blatcher on the tackle. But Hines with good forward momentum and a first down. Hines 6'4", 200. So he's got the body to lead and get some extra distance there. Here you see the second quarter. They just killed their opponents, although Southern the only score here in the second period. Grambling probably just tired from scoring so many points in the opening period.
I'd need oxygen in the locker room at the half to try to revive themselves. They better hurry up.
Just get the play off. Hines under some pressure.
Oh.
Byron Brown has a blocker and plenty of room. Using the blocker beautifully. Brown still going. What a run. Down to the 1-yard line, maybe the 1-foot yard. A 40-yard gain on a broken play, but a penalty marker is down. They'll bring it back. Boy, that's a terrific run.
What a play, though. Yes, what a terrific run, but what about the quarterback? Randy Himes, relaxed, scrambles around. He's trapped. He throws that ball. It's actually a backwards pass. Take a look at it right here. All right? He rolls out, and then there's no one to throw to. There's all kinds of white shirts around him. Keeps his presence of mind.
First down.
Keeps his presence of mind and finds a halfback, Byron Brown, who then takes it almost to the goal line, but all negated by the penalty.
So illegal motion, the penalty. And they'll place the ball at the Southern 46.
One of the hardest things for a quarterback to get, Mike, is a calm that you need to deal with all the chaos that you see on the field. Randy Himes has that.
Himes slips, gets hit, fires downfield, almost picked off. Lenny Williams tried to leap for it, but it was all pressure on Randy Himes. And the Southern defense kind of settled in a little bit now, John.
They have, and also the offense has changed a little bit. This is a poor play. He slips down right here, Himes, and then he just throws it up for grabs. You can't throw a ball like that up over the middle. It's going to be intercepted more often than it's going to be completed. Bad play by Randy Himes. He got away with it.
Alex Coleman with the big hit on Himes, so 2nd and 15. Well, just over a minute and a half remaining in the second quarter. Himes got sacked so many times last season, but he avoids it.
That's nice.
Throw complete. Tremont Douglas trying to break some tackles, and he's got a first down. Down to the 25-yard line, 22-yard gain.
You know what's so nice about that? You see the way Himes set himself. He said he worked all off season on his footwork and delivering the ball using his body, because last year, a lot of times his arm hurt after a game. This time he's using his body, and beautiful throw. And wait a minute, do I see some moisture or rain in here? We're indoors. How can that be?
Well, you told me as we were entering the building weather would be a factor.
I don't get it. Better get to it right before the Super Bowl.
Well, there's supposed to be thunder showers, perhaps a leak. And Hill charges up for maybe about a 5-yard gain. Shannon Smith and Chris Cooper in on the stop. Southern, the last thing they would want to see, obviously, is have Grambling get another touchdown as the drops continue here at the Super Dome. I think this is on the word dome.
On the dome. I think Doug Williams will. Yeah, there's some drops. I think Doug Williams will try to get the touchdown. But if he doesn't, he has the field goal kicker in Brian Morgan. He has confidence. He'll take the 3 if needs be.
2nd and 5. Under pressure. Complete. Douglas again. Down to about the 7-yard line with 20 seconds remaining. 12-yard pickup. And another timeout. Doug Williams wants this final score. Remember, a couple of years ago, Southern was down 31-10 at halftime of the Bayou Classic. Came back and won. That's a 21-point deficit. Only down 20. That's nothing.
Only 20. You know, when you try to tackle Randy Himes, it's like trying to drink, coffee with a fork. I mean, he's just unbelievable. He's so slippery. He just slithers around. You can't get a grip on him. I mean, he's tall and lean, but, I mean, that's one of his best assets. Besides a strong arm, his escapability.
There you see 24-3 score. Southern came back and won it. Pete Richardson's obviously good in the locker room at halftime. The veteran coach knows the adjustments to make. Doug Williams, of course, a big name because of his exploits in the NFL. But Pete Richardson has done a superb job with this program.
Pete Richardson, in 14 years as a coach, never had a losing season. How's that, man? He's been at 9 years at Southern. And he's one of those guys that just believes in organization, that an organization and discipline will win football games. He's certainly light on talent here. If he pulls this one out, he is a miracle worker.
1st and goal at the 7 with 20 seconds remaining in the first half. Himes wants to run, but taken down. Maybe a 2-yard pickup. Arthur Smith and Shannon Smith in on the tackle. And penalty markers thrown because extracurricular activity after the whistle. Penalty actually helps Grambling right now because it stops the clock with 9 seconds remaining. So they'll bring it back. Himes will have another chance for a play. Oh, they're going to bring in Brian Morgan.
And this is something that Doug Williams couldn't have done a year ago because he didn't have any confidence in his kicker. He actually missed a couple of field goals in last year's Bayou Classic, which would make a difference.
What's the foul? Offense, 15 yards from the spot of the foul. Touchdown.
Morgan, this will be from 37 yards out. On his kicks this year between 30 and 39, he's 4 for 5. Been pretty consistent. He missed from 46 earlier. But the freshman has a big leg. Blocked again. That's the 4th field goal attempt he's had blocked this season. He had an extra point blocked earlier today. And that will end the first half. So Southern holds on and will not let Grambling score to end. Hines a little frustrated at the finish.
I just think, Mike, that he kicked this. It looked like he punched the ball and kicked it low to have it blocked.
The officials trying to make sure the teams are separated right now as they go off. Joshua Davis appeared to get that right hand just on it. So Joshua Davis with the block. And that will end the first half. Grambling 27-0 lead in the first quarter. They explode. Southern defense kind of holds on. Gets that interception return, 94 yards from Cody Smith. And it's 27-7 at halftime as Grambling tries to snap the 8-game losing streak to their rivals. Right now we go to Lewis Johnson.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. It is halftime at the Bayou Classic, and coming up we'll have what has become a Thanksgiving weekend tradition here in New Orleans, the Battle of the Bands, presented by Southwest Airlines. The Grambling State University Tigers are warming up and will have their performance after these messages from Grambling and Southern.
Mic check. Grambling fans, are you ready for halftime excitement at its best? It's the world famous Tiger Marching Band under the direction of Dr. Larry J. Pannell. Ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes on the field as I introduce our dynamic drum majors. Tamon Baylor and Robert Jones from Shreveport, Louisiana. Josh Palmer from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Henry Akins from Little Rock, Arkansas. And on the 50, we have the head drum major, the head Venezuelan in charge, Andres Navarro from Caracas, Venezuela. And now you better work, band. Oh yes, you've heard about it, and now we're here live and in living color. Noted as the classiest band, the swag. Oh yes, we've done it all. Commercials galore. And coming soon to a television near you, yet another commercial for Amtrak. There's just no stopping that mighty, mighty Tiger Marching Band. Oh yes, and definitely a celebration for our State University. Excellence in education, 1901. 100 years, Grambling. And now, a shout out to the hottest news station in America, NBC. Get up, Tiger fans, and let's show some support for those mighty, mighty G-Men. Celebrating our pride. And representing the country that we know and love, the United States of America. The Grambling Band would like to thank our troops for always watching our back. Thank you to all the military. Oh, yeah. It's time to break it down, Grambling. This is our song, and we're feeling Grambling down. Grambling came to party. Put your hands in the air because we're feeling on you. Oh yeah, players want to play, and ballers want to ball. Feels so good, play it again. It's world fame, baby. If you feel good, put your hands up. If you're a Grambling fan, put your hands up. If you would the world fan, put your hands up. Oh, yeah. We didn't leave this part out. Oh, yeah. We're feeling on your body, baby. And now, for the classiest ladies in the SWAC, the Ortiz Dance Company under the direction of Miss Diane Maroney. Watch as these ladies dance with the sounds of Groove and Trail. Hit 'em up style.
All right, another outstanding performance from the Grambling Tiger Marching Band. We'll have the Southern University Band a little later in the half, but up next, Jimmy Roberts and Don McPherson will break down the first half and update you on the afternoon's other college football scores. That's coming up after these messages from your local station. You're watching the Bayou Classic on NBC. 27-7, Tigers over the Jaguars. And without further ado, we continue with part two of the Southwest Airlines Battle of the Bands. Now it's Southern's turn to bring down the house. Ladies and gentlemen, the human jukebox, the Southern University Marching Band from Jaguar Land. Southern showing its patriotism, rousing the crowd, and that concludes this year's Battle of the Bands, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. We're coming back with the second half in a moment, but first, we pause for this message from State Farm as the company honors this year's State Farm Eddie Robinson Coach of Distinction.
Play at the University of Hawaii later today, but our congratulations go out to Coach DeBerry for being this season's State Farm Eddie Robinson Coach of Distinction Award winner. Halftime here in New Orleans, and Grambling leading the Bayou Classic 27-7. Grambling again, they come in losing last 8 games against their rival Southern here in this Bayou Classic. And boy, they came out in that first quarter, 27 points in the opening period, and it looked like there was no stopping them. Southern, of course, regains composure, holds the fort, so to speak, and then gets the touchdown on the interception return. Do they have any chance in the second half?
It's a miracle that's only 27-7. You look at the stats, 463 total yards for Grambling, 28 for Southern. It's total domination. I mean, and Randy Himes has been magic. 3 touchdown passes. He ran for a touchdown, 61 yards. To answer your question, Mike, Terrence Levy, the injured quarterback for Southern, will have to work some miracles. It is a long shot.
Today's stats brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light, frost brewed, real smooth. As we begin the third quarter, Brian Morgan will kick off. Ezra Landry at his own 14-yard line. Gets across the 30, across the 35, and knocked out of bounds up near the 40-yard line. Nice return from Landry, a 25-yard return. And can Southern offense get something going? Again, their lone touchdown was on that 94-yard interception return. Although we have a player down on the field right now for the Grambling Tigers.
To further answer your question about, yes, so Terrence Levy certainly has to come in and make something happen. But if the special teams could, a punt return, a kickoff return, something big to spark the Southern offense, if that could happen, then the defense might come on and make more things happen with turnovers. But barring that, the offense doesn't have enough clout with all their injuries. Their best wide receiver is gone. Their quarterback is banged up. He's playing hurt. I mean, their running backs are all gone. So this is a Herculean effort for the Jaguars, down 27-7 against a good Grambling defense. So
good to see, again, as the personnel is around for Grambling, who was injured on the play. Watch number 53, Ronnie Rogers. He knocks Landry out, and it is Rogers who is finally up, and good to see walking off on his own power. Southern offense will take the field. Again, Terrence Levy coming in replace of the sophomore Quincy Richard, who was ineffective, although it was not Richard's fault, as the defense just swarmed all over him. But Levy, more experienced quarterback. Well, this is the best field position for the Jaguars to start off in. So a 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line. They fake the handoff, and he's thrown back down at the 32. A quick sack, to say the least. Ron Johnson and Calvin Pearson. Johnson with his first sack of the game, 7-yard loss.
See, this fake is a waste of time. You could see before the play developed that there were almost 11 defensive players within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage. An experienced quarterback like Terrence Levy should have seen that. Once you turn your back and start to fake, it's too much time. You don't have it, and you sack.
Without any kind of time, it's been impossible for Southern to get something going. Quick throw is complete. Chaubert, and gets up back near the original line of scrimmage. Alec Alexis Robinson on the tackle, and there you see the first half possessions. And not just punting, but 3 plays and out, 3 plays and out.
Not a lot of productivity there, but for a touchdown return by Cody Smith, Southern would be blank in that first half. An interception return for a touchdown.
3rd and 10. Levy in the shotgun. 5 wide receivers. Here comes the rush. Willie Gray. Quick pressure ball deflected. Intercepted. Chris Brown with a terrific catch. His 9th interception of the season. Off the deflection. And not the way Southern wanted to start the second half.
The idea of the offense was to get the ball to the slot man in a hurry and hope that he'd run after he caught that ball. Instead, he's a little shy. The ball goes off his hands, and look at that. Chris Brown, 6'3", goes up over the secondary receiver, pulls it in for the interception.
Alfred Ard couldn't hold on. You could hear the defender coming. And Chris Brown, who's been in the right place at the right time a good portion of this year, comes up with another interception.
9 interceptions is like a career, and that's incredible.
So what was good field position for Southern is now great for Grambling. Himes complete at about the 39, but a fumble. Ball pounced on, picked up. And I think that's going to be a fumble. I did not hear a whistle. Lenny Williams picked it up, and yes, Southern gets it right back. And Williams a little shaken up on the play after the return. And the Grambling players say, wait a minute, he was down. But it's going to be Southern football. So
2 quick turnovers.
Yep.
Yeah, 2 quick turnovers. Get it back. Wait a minute, the official is he conferring or has he made the decision?
No, with an injury on the field.
Okay, so it is a decision that Southern will get the ball back. Take a look at it, see if he was down right here. No, the ball is coming loose before his right knee hits the ground. The ball is loose.
So Levi Washington, who's caught 2 touchdown passes in this game, coughs it up. Shannon Smith, you see all over him. And Lenny Williams comes up with a big play. Williams still a little shaken up, but he gives the ball back to his teammates, and there's still a Jaguar player down on the field. And
Lenny Williams is a, he was trying to get that little extra yards, Lenny Williams was, but we'll take a look at the end of this play to see how the injury might have occurred. You see Kendrell Blacker there twist around and go down, and that's probably how the injury occurred.
So Blatcher still down, being attended to. Well, they're starting defensive tackles. Blatcher, the senior from New Orleans, he's okay, or at least appears to be. Nice sportsmanship right there. And as you see, Levy with a little pat as Blatcher walks off the field. So Southern gets it back. Now the ball at their own 47, but can they do anything with it? So far the offense has not been able to get anything going at all. Levy, that's complete. Minor out of the backfield. He's got a first down as he gets down to the Grambling 41-yard line. Calvin Pearson on the tackle, 13-yard pickup. As you talked about Minor, John, earlier, as a guy just for the past 4 years, a special teams player, did whatever you had to do to get on the field. Played kick returner, wide receiver, actually was the backup punter and place kicker. But special teams is where he kept his mark, and now getting a chance with all the injuries. Joubert on a quick pass, knocked out of bounds down to about the 37-yard line. And there's Minor, a senior from Baton Rouge.
Look at him. Talk about versatility, huh? A punter, a kicker, kick returner, running back, and a wide receiver. Do anything to get on the field. Those are the kinds of guys you want on your team. They just add to the whole.
In the victory over Prairie View, he had the game-winning touchdown. Joubert again, but hit immediately. Calvin Spears right there.
Calvin Spears is a real big-time defensive back. Started every game for 4 years. 3-time All-SWAC team. He's a real pro prospect. Think of that. Every game for 4 years. That's 44 games or something.
But he's never beaten Southern. That's what he said yesterday. We have to beat Southern. 8 straight losses Grambling has suffered to their bitter rivals. Although we say bitter, but there's been such good sportsmanship in many cases. Leading throws complete. Devin Lewis. But he's shy of the first down. Ball at about the 34-yard line. About a 6-yard pickup. And a 4th down coming up.
You got to go for it. The idea isn't a bad one for Pete Richardson and his Southern offense. He has no time to throw. He's got an injured quarterback. You got to get rid of the ball in a hurry and hope your receivers like Devin Lewis and company can catch the ball and make something happen after they catch it, because he doesn't have time to throw deep, and he's certainly hobbled with that knee.
4th and 4. Southern needing a big play. Quick drop off. And it looks like he's got the first down. Leon Miller with the extra effort. It's going to be very close depending on the spot.
Leon Miller certainly put everything into trying to get that. Did you see his body lean? I mean, he was determined to get as much yardage as he could.
Boy, this is extremely close. Denmark Reed on the tackle. They're going to bring out the chains, I believe. Southern so desperately needs this to get something going offensively. Trailing 27-7. Still early here in the 3rd quarter. Pete Richardson saw his team have a nightmare first quarter.
Hey, you don't become the best without major dedication, and that's why we've been there.
With that spot.
Official picked up the ball. I'm surprised to see that. Normally they just leave that ball on the ground. Is actually going to be spotted closer to the sidelines for some reason. The official over there has been holding the spot. He has another ball over there that you can see.
Grambling players already saying. So they hold him ever so slightly. A good stand from the Grambling defense. Yeah, we'll take a break. Disappointing play for Pete Richardson and Southern. They trailed 27-7 here at the Bayou Classic at the Superdome.
Key 4th down play for Southern. The ball flipped out to Leon Miller. Pretty big back, 200 pounds. But watch from the left side of your screen, that's Denmark Reed, who clips him at the heels. So he couldn't use his size and power to pick up the first down. Comes up inches short. Grambling gets the ball back.
They have it at their own 31, leading 27-7. Stay on the ground. Brad Hill with a good run. Powers up to the 39. That's a typical Brad Hill run. He's not fancy. Not a lot of flash. Just a good, powerful, straight-ahead runner as he picks up 9 yards.
And he's happy with that. He's happy to be who he is, baby bus. He said, if I can be anything like Jerome Bettis or Ron Dana, I'll be quite happy to contribute that way.
He came into the game with 877 yards on the season. Grambling hasn't had a 1,000-yard rusher since 1993. 2nd and 1. Hill hit once from behind the line. 2nd time. And he appears to have the first down up at about the 44-yard line. Robert Chapman and Lendrick Francois taking him down.
You know, he does bring some balance. They haven't needed it today, and Doug Williams just came out throwing, knowing that he could get something on that Southern defense. But you have to wonder about Brad Hill if that game against Florida A&M weren't canceled after the terrorist attacks. You know, who knows? Maybe that Brad Hill may have been a 1,000-yard rusher this year. Certainly started off strong, Mike.
You know what I love about him, John, when we spoke with him yesterday? Every time you brought up his success, the first thing he did was credit the offensive line. Every single time. Gets the call again and gets across midfield down to the 48. 8-yard pickup for the junior.
And you look at those first 5 games, he was on fire. you have 630 yards in 5 games, each of the averaging 126 yards a game, has tailed off somewhat, as you can see. He's down to 62 yards a game in the last 4 games. So Brad Hill started off strong and has backed up a little bit.
They've had to play some catch-up in some of those games, so they have not run the ball as much. But the thing he was saying is he wants to win this game for the seniors, especially guys like Larry Matevia, the senior center, who's had a great career, has won a SWAC championship, but has never beaten Southern. And Hill wants to give that moment to the seniors, especially those on the offensive line for him. Another injury for the Tigers. And that's Matevia, who's an NFL prospect himself, all SWAC first team.
And I think also, besides just catch-up, which is true, I think Doug Williams has just said, hey, I have such a talented quarterback that I'm going to go that direction. I'm going to let Randy Himes either make me or break me. And obviously, he's made them all season. And today, he has been spectacular. 3 touchdowns through the air, 1 rushing.
The 1 rushing was a 61-yard quarterback sneak for a touchdown.
Called by his offensive line. Yep. So you were talking about crediting the offensive line.
No wonder he credits it.
I would too.
2nd down and 3. Staying on the ground with a big lead and a big hole for Hill, who's got another 1st down as he plows down to the 40-yard line.
You think about Hill last year, when he had a meager 323 yards in the entire season. This year he's going to get 3 times that or close to it, because the way they're going now, obviously Grambling is going to go to the SWAC championship next week in Birmingham.
The baby bus, as you called him earlier, when you asked him yesterday about his nickname, he's a big Jerome Bettis fan. And as you can see, not bothered by that initial hit.
He is a little like Bettis. You always see people bouncing off Bettis. Same thing with Brad Hill. Low to the ground. All that time, nobody bounced off him.
He is just whacked back. Landry and Chapman on the tackle. Loss of 3. Chris Cooper as well.
Well, obviously the defense is adjusting. They realize that Doug Williams is he's gone into a quieter, less open offense. He's going to run the ball. He wants to take time off the clock. Has confidence in his defense. He says, well, why do I put it up? Maybe I'll get an interception. Maybe they'll run it back. So if he can get Hill to get some yards, get some 1st downs, and chew the clock, it's a great strategy.
Well, all 5 plays on this drive are Brad Hill rushes.
As opposed to the beginning of the game where about the first 20 plays for Grambling were passes.
Hill gets the call again. Gets down to about the 42-yard line. Maybe a 2-yard pickup. So a 3rd and long coming up to Shannon Smith with the tackle.
That defense of 3 linebackers for Southern, Chapman, Cooper, and Smith, kind of sounds like a New York law firm. Huh? Hello, Chapman, Cooper, and Smith. Can I help you? Do you have a legal problem?
They have given problems to many an opponent. Just a terrific linebacking core. And that's still, that was a stunning part of the 1st quarter, because Southern's defense has been so superb with all the injuries to the offense. Himes struggles a little bit, gets it away. Dangerous pass, but just gets it away.
And Richardson and the sidelines are furious because they figured that was just grounding, that he threw that away. He's just so cool, Himes. I mean, he was in the grasp and he just looked downfield. He's big and strong, and he just threw that away to avoid a sack. Watch him right here. Bingo.
Joshua Davis all over him. So a 4th down coming up, and they'll punt. Marcus Yanez only a couple of times with all the scoring early. Ezra Landry back at his own 10-yard line. This is again where Southern needs something, either a special teams or a turnover. Landry's had a couple of nice returns. Having problems with the clock apparently. Where someone called a timeout. So Landry will come over. 7:46 remaining in the 3rd. Southern will get the ball back after the punt. Taking that timeout as the play clock was winding down. It doesn't really matter even if they took the 5-yard penalty at that point, John. So Marcus Yanez, who has not had a punt block this season. Landry again back at about his own 10. And he'll tackle off some more yards. Mark Green, who made that terrific play before, trying to get a running start. So they'll move it back 5. Green, the junior from Baton Rouge. Talk about with the rivalry, sometimes it splits families. Then Mark Green's brother was an assistant SID at Southern. They had some arguments before the Bayou Classic, I'm sure. It's such a wonderful rivalry. I mean, it's so heated and so intense. And it's such a big tradition, not just the game, but the Battle of the Bands and the entire weekend. Many of the players played against each other in high school. Some were teammates in high school, now against each other in this Bayou Classic. High snap. And it gets a kick off, but it's going to go right into the end zone. So Southern will take over at their own 20. Southern's defense has done their job since that first quarter. It's now up to the offense because the defense finally settled in, John.
They really did. They were horrendous early on as he went down 27-0. But then Cody Smith wrestles the ball away from Highshaw there, takes it down for the touchdown. And then the defense continues to pound Grambling. And they blocked actually 2 kick special teams. And if Southern is to get back in this game, the defense has to be dominant. And maybe special teams have to get something done. Otherwise, their offense doesn't have enough.
Remember, Grambling averages over 38 points a game, so they're below their average. Pass incomplete. Intended for Contrell Plain. Then Mark Reed again right there on the coverage.
And Robert Taylor, middle linebacker, was all over Terrence Levy when he threw that ball.
That's pretty much a given every time a Southern quarterback, whether it was Richard earlier or Levy now.
You know, I want to Robert Taylor, the middle linebacker, had some interesting things to say yesterday. We'll pick up after this play.
Quick throw, complete. Devin Lewis, but he's quickly thrown down at about the 25. An 8-yard pickup. Calvin Spears with a good tackle.
You know, Robert Taylor was saying that he needs to win the Bayou and then the SWAC championship to be the best and finish his career in the right way. They've done everything here except, as you mentioned, win the Bayou Classic. And Taylor was no nonsense, didn't smile once during the time we talked to him. He was all business.
3rd and 2. Incomplete. Threw it too far ahead of Leon Miller. And that's probably a type of play. And Levy has not played since October 27th. He's practiced this week, and he's just no way he's going to be sharp.
And you only have so many tools in your bag. And when you look at the offense and how banged up it is and all of the injuries and Levy himself, he has to get rid of the ball in a hurry. He has to try to get it to the receivers on quick plays and hope they make something happen.
Villagrano on to punt once again. Regains himself, and it's off a decent punt considering. And Southern will down it at the 39-yard line. No chance of return for Shanklin. So a 38-yard pick in some hostile circumstances.
Welcome back to New Orleans. Lewis Johnson back inside the Superdome, and the news just does not get any better for Southern. You're looking at their defensive lineman, Gary Jenkins, who went down in the first quarter, I should say the first half of the game. He has a torn ACL. Right now they're trying to get a brace on him and some ice, but you know what? This is really bad news, especially considering the SWAC championships, which are next week, guys.
All right, Lewis, and the offensive line already having some problems. Without Jenkins, it would hurt. And we've got in now for Grambling as they come on with a 2nd and 10. Lonnie Nettles is the quarterback. You know, we're shrugging our shoulders, John.
Right.
Nettles the pitch, and it looks like Southern's recovered. Well, they're going to call it a pass and an incomplete. Jimmy Jones, the referee, running over to make the call. Pete Richardson wants to know what it is.
What is Doug Williams doing here? I mean, Himes is on the field.
So an interesting move. Nettles coming in for the play at quarterback with a 27-7 lead. getting a little gimmicky. I don't know.
Not a time to be gimmicky. I'm surprised. Doug, what are you doing? You're dominating this game. But he's got Randy Himes, his man, back at quarterback right now. Himes was actually at the wide receiver spot, so maybe they wanted to get the ball to him outside.
Nettles, a sophomore. He's listed as a defensive back, not played quarterback at all. Now Himes back in. There's the catch. Ellis Spears makes the reception and still going. And he gets down to about the 38-yard line. Cody Smith going along for the ride.
Ellis Spears is one of those guys that has deceptive competitive speed. And after he makes the catch, watch this. He's got good size. He's 6'3", good balance. See him put his hand down there, pick up the extra yards in the first down.
They say, though, now he stepped out at the 45, so they'll bring it back to the 45-yard line. Another fine senior for Doug Williams. They've got a number of players, some of their guys that have really performed in the Doug Williams era leaving, so some voids to fill for this Grambling team. More pressure on Himes. Incomplete. Intended for Levi Washington. Robert Chapman, the linebacker, on the coverage. And Himes a little slow getting up. He's not happy right now. I mentioned that he never gets mad. He looks pretty mad.
He does look a little mad now. I'm a little surprised. I mean, right here he throws the ball. It's got a little wobble on it. And, Levi Washington didn't make a great effort for it. But he got banged pretty hard when he threw that ball.
That was close to being interference. He grabbed around.
Yep.
So a second down of 10. Since the first quarter, Grambling has sputtered a bit offensively as the Southern defense has done a good job. Ball kind of deflected up. Joshua Davis coming in on that play.
Tell you what surprised me.
Something's wrong right now.
Yeah, something's wrong. And yeah, absolutely wrong with the offense. They went to the running game with Brad Hill. They consumed some clock. They were moving the ball, picking up first downs. All of a sudden, a radical turn by Doug Williams. He goes back to the throwing game. He inserts a quarterback no one's ever heard of and puts his regular quarterback, Randy Himes, at wide receiver. And now Himes is having trouble getting back into his rhythm.
3rd and 10. And again, they've got the big lead, and Southern's offense not doing anything, but it's still very early in the second half. Himes on the run. And there's bad communication going on right now. They clicked beautifully, as that was intended for Spears. It was actually between Spears and Washington. And you see since that first quarter the difference.
I know, he was red hot. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's only 6 for 15 in his last throw. It's 65 yards, just out of his rhythm. And Doug is going to try to calm him down and say, okay, look, we're going to take this into the house. But Doug has got to figure out what he wants to do. He's gone back and forth between the run game and the passing game, and that's confused and disrupted his quarterback.
Ezra Landry again back. Marcus Yanez to punt once again. Southern just not able to take advantage of the opportunities. Yanez another good punt. It's going to go in, and they'll bring it back out to the 20. Yanez hoping to get a little something better. 45-yard punt, but it's going to come out to the 20-yard line, and Southern will get another chance to try and get back in the game. Southern down 27-7 here in the third quarter. 1st and 10 of their own 20. Terrence Levy, the senior quarterback, coming back from the knee injury. Complete. Lewis gets up to about the 39-yard line. Calvin Spears brings him down, but not before a first down. A 20-yard pickup.
Devin Lewis is the man. Nice slant, one-on-one coverage. They're hoping that Lewis will be able to break loose and take it to the house. Unable to do that because Calvin Spears, with a sure tackle, all he can do in this situation is to make sure he brings down the receiver. And the 3-time All-SWAC conference player does exactly that.
Well, they mark it at the 39, but a first down. Lewis said, this is no doubt the biggest game of my career. They go for Lewis downfield. And just a little bit long. Spears was well behind Lewis. It would have been a touchdown, but it was a penalty marker, and it's going to go against Southern. So it would have been negated regardless.
Surprising, though. Calvin Spears looked lethargic, almost tired in covering Devin Lewis, who had him by 2 or 3 yards. You don't see that very often. I don't know if his exertion on the previous play or something caused that, but boy, Lewis was wide open.
That's really the first time Southern has had any time to throw the ball downfield.
Exactly, and they finally did it.
Offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Still first down.
Maybe that's the reason they had time. They were holding the defense.
I think you're right.
But you know what might have happened to Calvin Spears, defensive back for Grambling? He might have been thinking, they have no time. He has to throw it short. And he let the receiver, Lewis, get right on top of him and run right by him. That was an easy touchdown. Had the ball been thrown better, and no penalty, of course.
Spoken like a true former defensive back. Levy trying to get away. Throws it right through Lewis's hands. Spears was behind him. And a 2nd and long coming up.
When we were talking to Devin Lewis yesterday, you remember we were saying, well, Michael Hayes, the great receiver for Southern, hurt in the first game of the year. And we said, well, Devin, now you're the man, right? And he was a little embarrassed to say, well, I'm the man now that Hayes is gone. But he really is the man, the go-to guy when they need it. But that time, right through his hands, took his eye off and went right through his hands.
He's emerged as their big play threat. But said there's pressure on him. It's his last Bayou Classic. Said there's going to be NFL scouts here. That's why I called it the biggest game of his life. Levy gets away from Arnold. Throws downfield. Intercepted. Calvin Spears. And he's got room to run. Spears will go in for a touchdown, but there's a penalty marker. So a flag on the play. Hold everything. Jimmy Jones, the referee, talking with his officials. So it goes against Grambling. And there will not be a touchdown. Levy, by the way, injured on the play.
Boy, Levy is a warrior. You're talking about a guy that was hurt 3 weeks ago, hasn't practiced much, knee problems.
10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
So play penalty came after the interception. So it negates the touchdown, but it's still Grambling football.
But there's a game within the game. Obviously, this man is trying to just do whatever he can. But the game between Spears and Lewis. And Levy does a great job of getting away there. And then he has his receiver Lewis open, but he doesn't see Spears in front of him. You see right there? All right? Lewis was right behind him. Had he tossed that ball up a little bit. All right, now you see the defensive back start to bite a little bit. If he throws it up and out, it's a completion to Lewis. But instead, Spears makes the interception.
Spears with his 2nd interception of the season. And there's some more players down on the field. It's been a long, rough afternoon for the Southern Jaguars. Just over 4.5 remaining in the 3rd. Chad Green is down and trying to get up. Because just so much pressure, may have to return because Terrence Levy, who's coming back from the knee injury, shaken up on the last play. We'll see. Right now, Grambling football at the Southern 41-yard line. They lead 27-7. Brad Hill, big hole. Hill still going and barrels down to the 22-yard line. Finally taken down by Jakari Williams, an 18-yard run for Brad Hill.
And you have to wonder about the defensive line from Southern. That defense has been out there an awful lot. And this is just good blocking up front, especially on center. Thomas, Mativa, Riley. And then Hill just makes the best of it. Gets in there, and at the end of the play, gets those extra couple of yards by lowering his shoulders.
First down at the 23.
See, I don't know why Doug Williams went away from the Brad Hill running game. It was proving effective. It was eating up the clock. Somehow he went off on a tangent, running that quarterback we never heard of. And then Himes was playing wide receiver and forgot about Hill for a while.
Hill the lone setback. They stay with him, and he's hit right away. Chapman hit him first to slow him down, and Jonathan Ford then made the tackle. Maybe getting back to the line of scrimmage.
You know, we were talking about Brad Hill, possible 1,000-yard rusher. You know, next week if Grambling goes on to win this, they'll play Alabama State in the SWAC championship game in Birmingham. And, you know, she still has a shot at 1,000 yards. And the last Tiger 1,000-yard rusher was Eric Gant. He had 1,243 yards back in 1993. So it's been a while.
And this from a guy who last season had some hamstring problems, was also a little heavier than he wanted to be, but he came back, lost some weight, put the time in, and has had a terrific season. 2nd and 11. Hill again, right into the pack. It's down to about the 23-yard line, or was that Shanklin? Joshua Davis in on the tackle.
And you find out about the measure of a running back in these situations when the defense looks at the formation, they look at the scoreboard and the clock, and they know who's going to get the ball. And still, somehow, Brad Hill manages to get positive yardage.
The Southern defense trying to come up with another big play. The only score for Southern was a 94-yard interception return for a touchdown by Cody Smith. They had that nightmare first quarter. Since then, they've held Grambling in check. 3rd and 10. 5 wide receivers. Shanklin in motion. The screen pass too far ahead of Shanklin. Good pressure. And a 4th down coming up for Grambling. It's amazing how the Southern defense has really come on after that terrible first quarter. Shanklin shaken up.
Shannon Smith, the linebacker, put a little hit on Shanklin after that play. It was actually after the play. You know, it tipped off Shanklin's fingers, and then Smith gave him a little pop, and Shanklin went down near the sidelines.
So Brian Morgan, who Doug Williams says is the best kicker in Division I AA, will try a 41-yard field goal. He's missed 2 today, 1 from 46 and 1 from 37. And this time, Morgan is perfect. Grambling, their first score since the opening quarter, and now increase their lead to 30-7. And Doug Williams feeling comfortable right now with 2:15 remaining in the 3rd. Coca-Cola is proud to present the student athletes of the game. From Southern University, our Coca-Cola student athlete team captain number 43, Robert Chapman. A linebacker from Houma, Louisiana. Chapman, a senior majoring in pre-law, has a 3.8 GPA. From Grambling, it's Brandon James. From Grambling, Louisiana, the junior who received his undergraduate degree in May 2001 after only 3 years in school and achieved a 3.24 GPA and the BS in marketing, currently working on his master's degree in sports and public administration.
Robert Chapman, talking to him yesterday, what an 3.8 GPA, and he knows what he wants to do. He wants to do medical malpractice, but what amazed me was when we were talking about the courses that Robert Chapman was taking, he said, well, I'm taking one course, pathogenic microbiology. And we looked at each other and said, huh? And of course, you know what that is, Mike. You know that it's bacteria causing disease and the study of that. You know that, Mike, right?
I'm glad you didn't quiz me. So on the kick return, Landry breaks a couple of tackles, gets across the 35 and up to the 40. Nice return again from Ezra Landry. Fred Wicker brings him down, but not before a 34-yard return. So again, decent field position, but Southern just unable to do anything with it. Let's see who comes in at quarterback for the Jaguars. Quincy Richard, perhaps. He's got the helmet on, and he'll return. Richard started the game.
I got a question for you, okay, as we look at Terrence Levy on the sideline. Obviously that knee is bothering him again, and he's not, obviously not 100%. Gave it his best, 12 of 19, 77 yards. You know, a couple of balls were intercepted by him. Gave it his best. What a warrior.
Richard, quick throw. Byron Miner has a blocker ahead of him, gets across the 45 and breaks it. There goes Miner. In pursuit is Grambling, but Miner will score the touchdown. 61 yards. The quick little pass that Byron Miner for his first receiving touchdown of his career. The senior had that running touchdown against Prairie View And now adds to it.
And what a nice run by him at the end of this play. Take a look at it. Chris Brown, the defensive back, is coming from over here. He would have made the play, Chris would have, except for Minor cutting back away from him to take it in for a touchdown.
And the young man who spent so much time on special teams trying to make an impact, trying to make an impression, has done so in some big games down the stretch of his senior season. Byron Minor with a beautiful run after the catch, and Richard perhaps feeling a little confident.
Smart play calling, though. Get it to your runner out in the flat. Good blocking up front. Look at the wide receivers blocking. Right there, Ard with a good block. Downfield, a good block by Jobert. And then it's, then it's the man doing it all himself. Byron Minor, touchdown.
And Levy, who has been so supportive after going down with a knee injury, helping out Quincy Richard, the young quarterback, finally gets a smile on his face. There haven't been a lot of them on the Southern sidelines today. And it's now 30-14. Remember, it's still the third quarter. And
Are you suggesting something?
Well, they specialize in these Bayou Classic comebacks.
Oh, if Doug Williams ever lost this game, I mean, obviously Pete Richardson would be delighted, but Doug Williams, I don't know what he'd do. He thought he had it won last year and the year before. I mean, it would be a devastating loss because he's so convinced that he has a superior team by far.
Southern had 78 total yards on offense before that play. That play alone went for 61. It was all Minor.
It wasn't Minor. It was Major.
So
sorry.
Villagrano. On the poor kick. Fielded at about the 28 and a fumble. Ball loose. Southern has it. Kevin Moffitt. And the momentum has switched again on the Bayou Classic. Doug Williams, I'm sure, going to try and remain calm.
A problem if you're returning these kinds of short kicks, they're so short and you can feel the defenders coming down on you, the tacklers, and boy, Moffitt makes a good play to pick that ball off the turf.
Byron Brown had to go right through his arms. And Moffitt holds on, nearly came loose. Richard looking for Devin Lewis. And good defensive play from Calvin Spears.
At the time, Lewis and Spears had been going at it all day long. It was bump and run by Calvin Spears. And what they wanted to do there, Calvin Spears is only 6 feet tall, defensive back, right? Devin Lewis is 6'4", can go up and get it. They just wanted to throw the alley-oop and hope that Lewis would come down with it for a touchdown. Might see it again.
Alfred Ard comes in as the fourth wide receiver. Richard looks for the end zone. Touchdown! Kentrell Plain. And Southern is right back in it in a blink of an eye. Plain with his third touchdown reception.
This is just a nice throw as Plain does an out and up. And good concentration to make that catch. He actually had, Quincy Richard, the quarterback, actually had Devin Lewis wide open on the post over the middle as well.
Plain, another senior from Baton Rouge, his first reception of the day, and it's a huge one. And what a difference from Quincy Richard. Now, Southern has called a timeout, perhaps to decide whether or not to go for the two-point conversion.
Well, 2 points would give it 22 points. It'd be down by 8. That way, a touchdown at 2 points would tie this game. So, I like the call. Look, if they miss the 2 points, they can get a touchdown and a field goal, although I wouldn't bet on their field goal kicking team to tie it. But I like the idea of going for 2 here, because then it's just one score, and then it's another 2-point conversion.
Grambling fans have seen this all too often. The quick start and then a Southern comeback. That's why Southern right now has won 8 straight Bayou Classics. They were down 27-0 in the first quarter and have now bounced back and a pull within 10. They will go for the 2-point conversion.
Less than 50% of the time do teams make 2-point conversions. He's got to roll out.
Does just that. Throws in the end zone. Knocked down. Chris Brown with another big play. What a game Brown is having.
Oh, what a game. All he had to do was lob it over the top. He had the receiver wide open in the end zone, but Chris Brown's a big defensive back. He's 6'3". He can jump. Watch him here at the end of this play. You'll see number 19. All right, Quincy Burchard starts to run. And then what he doesn't do, whoa, look at how high up he gets. Knocked it down with his left hand. But he had Devin Lewis in the end zone.
But Southern is back in it. They trail 30-20. And because of the injury to Levy.
I do not expect an onside kick. It's way too early.
Shanklin at the 33 and goes nowhere. The momentum has certainly shifted. And Grambling will take over at their own 33. Eddie Green on the tackle.
If you're Grambling now and you are Randy Himes, you have to start playing. You have to retake control of this game. It's gotten away from you. Southern has it. If you don't do something here to get some kind of a score, take some time off the clock and make something happen, you could lose another Bayou Classic.
It happens where you get the big lead, you lose your edge a little bit. And the slightest bit of change of momentum, and it's very hard to get that edge back, especially as you say you've kind of changed your game plan and gotten out of the flow.
And that turnover off the kickoff, they capitalized on.
Stay on the ground. Brad Hill up to maybe the 37-yard line, a 3-yard pickup. Ventrell Blatcher, who was injured earlier, nice to see him back in and make a play.
Now, if I were Doug Williams, I certainly wouldn't be in a panic mode. I would just gather my team and tell them to, gentlemen, settle down. Make some things happen. You know, let's get out of this third quarter. You know, let's move the ball. Let's take some time off the clock and let's put something on the board. Nothing radical. No panic.
Michael Landry and the Southern defense, after the terrible start, have really done the job. 2nd and 7. Washington split out to the left. He already has 2 touchdown receptions. They stay on the ground with Hill. Hill immediately hit by Blatcher again. And a 3rd and long coming up for Grambling.
What Doug Williams is saying loud and clear right now is that I believe my defensive team can shut down this wounded Southern offense. And if we don't make mistakes and turn the ball over, we will win this game because my defense is better than their offense at this moment.
Well, of course, one of the touchdowns for Southern came on the interception return. The other one was set up on the fumble. So the defense still for Grambling has done the job. The one play, Byron Minor with the long run. But overall, the Grambling defense has stopped the Southern offense. And this will wind down the 3rd quarter. The tide has turned a bit. Although Southern's still down, they are very much back in the Bayou Classic. 3 quarters complete here at the Super Dome in New Orleans. Grambling trying to snap an 8-game losing streak to Southern. 4th quarter coming up when we return, and we'll be right back after these words from your local station. Set to begin here at the Bayou Classic. Grambling's 27-point lead has been sliced to 10. They have their 1st and 10 at their own 38-yard line. Randy Himes, the brilliant first quarter, but the offense has sputtered since then. Only a field goal since the opening period. Big pressure from Shannon Smith. Nearly taken down, and he's run out of bounds. Robert Chapman and Chris Cooper in pursuit. A loss of 2.
Still a good play by Randy Himes. He did not throw the ball into coverage, risking an interception. He just went out of bounds. They'll kick it away. He says, okay, my defense can do the job.
Not a mistake on the downs before, so they'll come out on the punt. Yanez will punt for Grambling. This is Landry back at the 20. A little confusion there at the line of scrimmage. Yanez does a good job of getting him off in a hurry. Again, he has not had one block this year. Big rush. Nearly. That time. Good high kick. Landry with a fair catch at the 25. That's a beautiful kick under some pressure. A 38-yard kick. Kevin Moffitt nearly with the block on that. Yeah, it's not happy with his blockers. As you see the numbers through the first 3 quarters, John Docker.
And I'm going to do a little drawing here because you look at the total yards. Yes, Grambling is way up, but bear in mind that they had 463 at the half. Haven't done that much. And Southern only had a cool 28. So who has dominated the second half? Southern, right here. Southern. It's all Southern. Yeah, turnovers help.
Today's stats brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light, frost brewed, real smooth. 2 of the turnovers, one of them was a score, the other led directly to one. And Southern down just 10 now. 1st and 10 at their own 26. Richard connects. Quick hard tackle from Chris Brown.
Had to be a face mask. The way he went down, you'd have to think it was a face mask.
Chris, let's see who it is. It's Lionel Joseph who was shaken up. You hear the ooze from the crowd as soon as he was hit.
That's one of those inadvertent things. As a defensive back, you have no other shot because you're being blocked, as Chris Brown was. But to put your hand in there and maybe, got the face mask and ripped him down. Oh.
Looked like he was going by the shoulder pad with his momentum.
But once someone has control of your head and face mask, you can do nothing.
And Joseph obviously a little woozy, comes off, but they call a personal foul.
15 yards for the start of the foul.
Brown has had a great game. But that penalty hurts because it pushes the ball up to the 41-yard line. Things starting to unravel a bit for Grambling.
Southern offense, 2 plays. Here's what it is. I'm going to throw it in the slot, and I'm going to have receivers in front of my receiver to block for him. Hope that after he makes the catch, he runs for the ball. That's one play. The other play is when they start to move up for that, I'll try to get something deep. Those are the only 2 plays that we're going to see from Quincy Richard and the Southern offense.
He was under such pressure in the first quarter, Richard, but now showing some poise. Got another first down off the penalty. In the shotgun, has some room to run, and just tackled from behind. Andre Arnold making a nice play. Would have saved perhaps a big gain from Richard, who had some room ahead of him.
I forgot to mention the third possible play, which he was looking for there, was a slant. You got to get rid of the ball. The quick rhythm passing game, get rid of the ball in a hurry because he doesn't have time to throw. He was looking for the slant receiver coming from the near side of the field.
Arnold, the transfer from Memphis, with a great year for Memphis, and this is first year with Grambling. Still working on Lionel Joseph. 2nd and 8. Richard has a little time, throws it too high, and a dangerous deflection intended for Devin Lewis. And a 3rd and 8 coming up for Southern.
Hey, Devin Lewis, if you're going to be the man, if you're going to replace Michael Hayes, you got to make catches like that. Went off your fingertips. You're coming over the middle. I know there's going to be a hit happening, but boy, the Southern needed a catch like that. Look at the total yards. 3rd quarter. 3rd quarter has belonged to Southern.
Big 3rd down play. Still very early in the 4th. Richard. Complete. About the 43-yard line. Kentrell playing with the reception, but quickly brought down by Pearson and Spears. Yeah, they're going to have to punt on 4th down. But Pete Richardson's team has slowly gotten back in. You know what, John, you can talk about, lucky plays or fortunate turnovers, but his team continually has this ability to come back, and that has to be a reflection on the coach in terms of how he stays positive even when you're down.
Never quits, says the system and the organization allows parts to be replaced. He's an incredible coach.
So a 31-yard kick, call for a fair catch by Kendrick Shanklin, and Grambling will take over, leading 30-20. Next Saturday night at 6:30 Eastern, Michael Jordan back on NBC as the Wizards host the Magic. Jordan and company going to try and contain Orlando's high-scoring duo, Tracy McGrady and Grant Hill. Find out when the NBA on NBC returns next Saturday, 6:30 Eastern. Jordan and the Bulls going through some tough times right now, but he's starting to get his feet under him.
Yeah, I saw Michael when he came back against the Knicks in his opening game, and there were some flashes of the old Michael Jordan. It's just he doesn't have much of a team around him.
A lot of young players that Doug Collins is working with, but it's been a slow process in the early going. They pitch it back after the handoff to Hill. Himes trying to run, breaks one tackle. Shannon Smith with good pursuit. They wanted a late hit, but no penalty marked him. Smith forced him out, didn't make the tackle, but Fletcher right there and a loss of 5.
There was another option for Randy Himes there, and that was simply to throw the ball away. He didn't do that and gets a 5-yard loss, as you said, but he's like a matador. He gets the rush on him. You see the rush coming from the outside. It's a throwback. Chapman has him in his sights, and just like a matador, he sheds him, comes outside, and then I think he should just throw it away here.
You never think when you're up 27-0 and you're resorting to trick plays like this in the fourth quarter.
Amazing. I don't think it's a good idea. I think Doug should play it relatively straight, let his quarterback run a little bit and make some plays, but let your defense help you to win this game. You're up by 10. It's not exactly a potent offense you're playing against. They're injury riddled.
Second down and 15. Himes is hit as he throws, complete. Ellis Spears gets up near the first down, close to the 35-yard line. Mopped it on the tackle, a 14-yard pickup.
Nice throw by Himes. Set himself well, put his body into it. Take a look right here. Sets himself, steps forward, and then uses his body. Something he didn't do a year ago. And he put a lot of strain on his arm. He's worked on that all off season. Throws a nice out pattern here. Close third and short.
About a yard to go for the first down. 12.5 minutes remaining, fourth quarter. Grambling with the ball and a 10-point lead. Straight up the middle. I don't think he got it. Hill hit immediately at the line of scrimmage. Shannon Smith and Kentrell Fletcher in on the tackle. And a fourth down coming up for Grambling.
Southern defense just won't quit. It is amazing.
They've been marvelous since that first quarter. Unfortunately, the first quarter put them in a 27-point hole.
But remember, they helped to bring themselves back. Cody Smith, that interception, returned for a touchdown. That helped to put some spark back into Southern.
Shannon Smith and Michael Landry in there. Smith has had a very strong game. Here's the former Super Bowl MVP, Doug Williams, giving the advice. And on 4th and 1, it looks like they're going for it.
Oh, my. Interesting call. I am surprised. Quarterback sneak.
It's a little less than a yard.
I didn't think so.
Got to call the timeout, see if they could draw them off sides. Southern defense feeling very confident right now. And I think you'll probably see the punter. Grambling with just one timeout remaining.
I would have been a little surprised. I would have been a little surprised had they gone for that. This was just an attempt to, get him off sides. And he calls a timeout. Doug Williams is not happy. The clock was running down, so he had to call a timeout, or else he would have gotten a penalty.
He can still move a little bit on the sideline. Pearson for the hit.
It was a terrific tackle in the open field on a pretty slippery guy. Landry's had some good returns. Couldn't get away from it here. What Nettles did was slow down just that little bit so he could get good contact and hold on.
Young players watching, that's where you tackle down there.
Yeah, if you're full speed and 100%, all that your receiver is going to do is just give you a little juke and he's going to be by you. You're going to miss it.
Still plenty of time remaining here in the fourth. 11-22. Southern trying to crawl back from a 27-0 deficit. Richard, a couple of fakes, trying to get it away. Dangerous pass, nearly picked off by Chris Brown. Intended for Kentrell Plain. Ron Johnson, that is, with some very good pressure in the backfield.
Grambling defense finally figured out what he wanted to do. They had the slot receiver, the short receivers covered. You see Plain is covered right there? And then Richard could do nothing except try to throw it away. Dangerous.
2nd and 10. There's Richard. And he started the game, came out. Levy, who's made his first appearance since the end of October with the knee injury, who just You can see it was bothering him. Got it banged up again. Richard trying to get out of the pack and is taken down. Dante Newell and Terrence Dukes.
Once Richard in the Southern offense gets in a longer situation, 2nd and 10 or 3rd and long, and have to put the ball downfield, it's a problem because the offensive line just can't hold off the surge of the Grambling defensive line.
Just got back to the line of scrimmage, but this is looking like the first quarter for Richard, where he just had no time to throw.
Wow, this looks like it's going to be man-to-man, and it looks like they're going to come with the blitz, where they're backing up a little bit now. Chad Brown. That's smarter. Wait back a little bit. Don't give him the short stuff.
Looking downfield, but he was out of bounds. Intended for Devin Lewis. Calvin Spears with good coverage. And that was a quick 3 and out for Southern. Lewis and Richard talking it over.
Well, it was Richard where he threw the ball. I mean, you know, Devin Lewis went up and got it. He's 6'4", went up and got it. Just Richard threw it too far outside, so he couldn't come down inbounds.
And Villagrano back on to punt. It's been a busy day for Villagrano. Levi Washington is back to receive the punt. Remember, Shanklin fumbled one earlier. A fake punt. He's throwing downfield. Caught at the 40-yard line.
Pushing off.
No flag.
Oh, my.
Tamir Anders makes the reception on the fake punt. A 20-yard pickup and a first down. He clearly pushed off.
On Travis Massey, number 11, had coverage on him. And you see Doug Williams saying he did push off. It was blatant. It was outrageous. It should have been a penalty on Southern. Instead, they get a break and a catch and a first down.
Villagrano plays quarterback to perfection. And a first down at their own 40.
I don't know if you can see it, but right there is the push-off. He didn't just fall down, Massey. He was knocked down.
Well, Villagrano's no longer the quarterback. Richard comes back in. And they have new life. Richard running for his life now. Scampers down and hit from behind at about the 46. Ron Johnson running him down, but not before about a 5-yard pickup.
And hindsight is wonderful. If you're the Grambling special teams, you say they're desperate. A fake is a sure possibility. They didn't have bad coverage, but look at that right there. Huh? That's an obvious penalty. The officials are standing right along the sidelines. They either didn't see it or just didn't call it.
It was wide open. He stepped out of bounds. Richard did a little bit early, so.
Here's he out and up. He's wide open.
And throws it ahead, intended for Kentrell Plain.
You know, they got a touchdown on that very play before. Defensive backs are confused on Grambling. That's just an out and up for just a slot man. The wide receiver goes over the middle and takes the defenders with him. But one of the problems is the pressure on Richard. Woo! Takes a big hit from Massey right there.
So 3rd and 8. Southern continues to have trouble moving the football. What's helped them? Penalties, turnovers. And of course the fake punt. 3rd and 8. Just under 10 minutes remaining here in the 4th. Big hit. Oh, Richard got whacked. Intended for Lewis. Throw it too far ahead. Boy, did Robert Taylor come flying in. And Richard's a little shaken up on the play.
Richard had to get rid of it, as you said. He was hit. Had to get rid of it too soon. Otherwise, he might have had a shot downfield.
He's hurting. Arnold also coming in with a hard hit. So Levi Washington back to receive the punt. This time Villagrano's going to kick it. Gets off a nice high kick. These are dangerous ones. You got to get out of the way if you're on Grambling. And they'll start from about the 22-yard line. 35-yard kick and no return. With 9:27 remaining here in the 4th, Grambling will have the ball in a 10-point lead. Tuesday starts like Donnie Osmond, Kelly Preston, and Coolio Testalevitz of Fear on the first ever Celebrity Fear Factor. Tuesday at 8, 7 Central, here on NBC. Johnny Osmond getting involved.
Terrence Levy wishes he were in there, but you see that little limp. Quincy Richard head down on the sidelines. It took some major hits on that last series.
So Grambling takes over. You almost get the feeling that the Southern defense is going to have to come up with a turnover as Hill gets about 4 yards.
If I were Grambling, that's how I'd be playing it. I'd be playing it, okay, let me eat some clock up, run the ball with Hill, let my quarterback run safe in a safe way, and don't risk the ball. You know, protect the ball and make the Southern offense beat you, which I don't think they can do.
Southern still has 2 timeouts remaining. Grambling down to 1 left.
Baby Bus, look at that, getting up closer to 100 yards. These are tough yards.
2nd and 6. Baby Bus does get the call, but hardly goes anywhere. Right back to the line of scrimmage in the 3rd and 6. Jonathan Ford and Kentrell Blatcher making the play, and that's what the Southern defense has done since that first quarter. They have really made plays.
Now, what do you do here, Mike? I know what I'd do. I'd roll out my athlete. I'd just send him out, roll him right. Randy Himes, if he has some room, I tell him to take off, try to get that first down. If not, throw the ball away, and then kick it away.
John Petty, the tight end, comes in. Five wide receivers on a 3rd and 6. And your athlete's going to run the football.
Yeah, but my athlete wasn't ready.
Jakari Williams with a terrific play, and 4th down now for Grambling.
Did you see that, Mike? Randy Himes wasn't ready to get the snap. It was lucky it didn't hit him in the helmet and careen away, and he's down on the turf. He wasn't ready on the snap, and the ball could have easily been a fumble, nor was his receivers. Watch this. He's still motioning to his receivers, and the ball is snapped. What great reaction to catch that ball. Now he's carrying the ball in the wrong hand there. Come on. Get it on the outside so you don't fumble it.
Nearly fumbled.
But look at this. He's lucky. Plus his reflex.
Now he's shaken up and still down on the field.
If he can't play, we will see Bruce Eugene, the bruiser, quarterback, 6'1", 250-pound freshman. Little stocky for a quarterback.
And there's Bruce Eugene. Eugene has started a couple of games.
Let's see how he goes down. Maybe we can see what happened to him. Pulled down from behind. That left leg seems to get caught underneath him. Oh.
And the left foot, you see the left foot.
Yes.
So Himes limping off now, being helped. And that left foot got caught underneath him. So we will see Bruce Eugene.
The big man.
Who got the call a few games ago. Himes was ineffective. Eugene more of a throwback pocket passer. Yanez on with the punt. Landry back with his own 33. Southern could use some ideal field position. Big rush. Yanez gets it off. A short kick. And it goes out of bounds. Southern will have excellent field position at the 47-yard line. Only a 28-yard kick.
Let's see who comes out for quarterback for Southern. Remember, they have Anthony Fisher as well, who started a few games after Terrence Levy went down before Quincy Richard took over. No, Richard's coming out.
Richard will come out with 7 minutes, 11 seconds remaining. Southern down by 10 as they attend to Himes. He had a career day in the first quarter. Most of that happened in the first. Richard trying to run and hit very quickly. Travis Massey on the tackle, a 2-yard pickup. And Calvin Pearson a little shaken up. This has been a very physical football game, more than the norm.
Doug Williams will tell you, if you want to find the ball on the field, find his strong safety, number 3, Calvin Pearson, and he will take you to the ball. He's the hardest hitter they have on defense.
Meanwhile, number 3, Devin Lewis, he's always been the big playmaker for the Southern offense this year. Richard will look for him under pressure, fires, nearly intercepted. Intended for Alfred Ord. Chris Brown on the coverage, and again, big pressure in the backfield.
Andre Arnold is really a fine pass rusher. Number 95, watch the right side of your screen. Right there from behind, gets him in the legs. And, you know, he was a leader in sacks at Memphis and Conference USA last year. Arnold was. And he transferred to Grambling, and what an addition he's going to be.
3rd down and 8. So another big play for the Southern offense. They're going to use the timeout, though, as the clock was winding down. The play clock down to 2 seconds. So they have to burn another timeout, and they're down to just 1. Pete Richardson, despite being down 27-0, trying to stay positive. His team with a football, but a big 3rd and 8 coming up. With the lead here in the 4th quarter, but their starting quarterback shaken up. Let's go to Lewis Johnson.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. Down here on the sideline with Randy Himes, who is trainers are furiously working on him, trying to get his left knee back in order. They've taken off his tape. Mike, I'll get it back to you for this play. We'll come back and talk about this.
Penalty marker as Richard was going for the first down, but a flag on the play. The 29-yard pickup, but I think they're going to bring it back. Yes, they will.
It was interesting. Pete Richardson said, I said, what about Quincy Richard? He said, you know what, he's got a long way to go. He's a young guy, first start and all, but, you know, you'll see some flash from him as a runner. And we did that play. Let Richard take off, call back because of a holding penalty, but he shows some running ability right here.
Holding. Offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat 3rd down.
So instead of the first down run, it's going to be a long 3rd down play with 6:17 remaining here in the 4th quarter. 3rd and 18.
It looked like Devin Lewis, receiver on the outside, was doing a little battle, and he might have been the one that was called for the hold.
Southern needing a big play here. Lewis is normally the man who does it. Blitz across the middle, deflected. Dante Newell got a piece of it. Newell, the senior from Farrell, Pennsylvania, and another incompletion. And I hesitantly say they'll punt. They've already had one fake. Pete Richardson had his punter fake, and they got a first down pass off it.
He's down by 10. He's running out of time, but if you're wondering why a big guy like Dante Newell, 280 pounds, was back, it was his own blitz. And they had some of the defensive backs going, and Newell dropped back into coverage.
Bad snap, but handled very well, and a beautiful high kick.
Get away from it if you're, whoa.
Oh, almost, they were practicing these yesterday here at the Super Dome and knocked back to about the 17-yard line. A 41-yard kick. And Washington holds on, showing some good hands there. So let's get back to the Randy Himes scenario. Lewis?
Yeah, Mike, the trainers are really working furiously on Randy Himes back here behind the Southern bench, the Grambling bench, I should say. First, they were looking at his left knee. Seems to be that's okay, but they've taken the tape off of his left ankle. Now they're retaping him. They're putting a splint, an air splint on that left knee. He's pretty upset because somebody missed an assignment, missed a block, which caused the injury. That's what he was talking about down here, but it looks to me like they're trying to get him ready to come back in the game. Mike?
So in his place, Bruce Eugene, the freshman from New Orleans, will come in. Eugene, again, started a couple of games. He's thrown 7 touchdowns, a couple of interceptions in his limited duty. Fumbles the snap initially and then gets the handoff, but for no gain.
You know it's going to be Brad Hill time now, and they just got to be careful. As you said, he fumbled that snap. A fumble here would be disastrous and open the door for Southern.
Michael Young with his first carry on that play.
Michael Young, why in the world wouldn't they just give it to Brad Hill? I mean, he's steady. He doesn't fumble. He's strong. I mean, put a new guy in there, and who knows what's going to happen.
That's his first rushing attempt of the day, so 2nd and 10. Young still in the backfield. Gets the handoff. Nice run. And Michael Young gets across the 25 to about the 26-yard line. And a 3rd and about 5 will be coming up. Time running out now on Southern. They only have 1 timeout remaining, down by 10.
And this is not the time to gamble in any way, shape, or form with Bruce Eugene, your quarterback that Doug Williams was saying. Reminds me a little bit of Sonny Jurgensen or Billy Kilmer. And maybe he's carrying a few extra pounds, but he's got a strong arm. I mean, he's really got a strong arm. He's a drop-back passer, but I doubt we'll see much of a passing attack here from Grambling. Just keep it on the ground, run out the clock.
And Young hasn't carried the ball a lot this season, but apparently he's pretty solid in holding on to it, and that's the key for him being in there. Big 3rd down play. Young keeps powering, and he gets the 1st down with the 2nd effort. Michael Young, the senior from Shreveport, with a huge 1st down.
And Michael Young is not that big. He's only 180 pounds, so he can be bounced around. This time, carrying the ball. I wouldn't, if I were Young, I might have 2 arms around in this situation. Shows some good power for a relatively small running back.
Yeah, there's a lot of pigskin showing there,
yes,
with hands all around, but he got the 1st down. And the clock running at 3:45. 3 important rushes for Young. Didn't touch the ball all game. Well, that is a critical play. And he's going to continue to get it. Dives ahead to about the 36-yard line. 4-yard pickup. 2nd and 6. Shannon Smith and Chris Cooper in on another tackle together.
The only thing I can think of is that Doug Williams might want a fresh back in there. I see number 33, Brad Hill, standing on the sidelines right near Doug Williams, but he is not getting the call.
And you know, Williams has to have a lot of faith in Young's ability to hold on to the football in situations like this. Going with his senior in the backfield at a big time in the game. 3 minutes remaining. Same play. And Young maybe a yard. So 3rd down coming up. Again,
sorry, Mike.
Only 1 timeout right now for Southern.
If I were Southern, I'd use it sooner than later. I mean, there's times running out here. You got to hope something happens, and use the timeout.
Use one before the 2-minute warning.
And then take the 2-minute warning and try to get the ball back. It's 3rd down. They use one now. And it's the 4th down. Come on. Of course, if this were pro ball, they'd have a 2-minute warning, but here they don't. So use the timeout, stop the clock, force it to punt, hope something up to block it for touchdown.
3rd and 4. Young taken down, and now 4th down coming up. And I think they'll use their timeout here. Eddie Woods on the tackle. And Pete Richardson and Southern will get the ball back with a 4th down coming up. So timeout on the field. Southern trailing by 10, hoping for a miracle finish. Grambling up 10 will punt on 4th down. Southern needs a huge return from Ezra Landry, who's back at his own 20. Southern, though, out of timeouts. And as we mentioned, they could use a big play like a block punt, although Landry is a good returner. Yanez has not had one blocked all season.
They came close a couple of times. You have to figure Southern is coming after him.
Oh, that's a beauty. At the right time, too. Landry has a little room to run. And hit hard. Denmark Reed with the tackle. Southern will take over. While we have a moment, I'll tell you today's State Farm players of the game. From Southern University, it's number 25, Byron Minor, the senior who had that beautiful 60-yard run or 61-yard run. And also from Grambling State, Randy Hines, a senior who threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for another. Those are our State Farm players of the game.
Randy Hines, an incredible performance by a gifted athlete.
Well, Southern's going to need a miracle finish. Score quickly, try and get the ball back. They're out of timeouts. Richard under pressure. Looks downfield. Complete at the 41-yard line. Kentrell playing on the reception, so they'll mark it at the 41.
Southern never gives up. They just keep coming. Obviously, without timeouts, this is a problem. 1:37 left.
Richard has done a nice job since returning after initially being yanked in the first quarter. Going for the end zone. Oh! Lewis was open, but just a little too far ahead. Chris Brown and Travis Massey on the coverage, but Lewis had a step on him.
Lewis had a step on him, and I can't believe as a defensive back you'd allow anyone to get behind you in this situation. Here, Southern gets a touchdown. They get the extra point. They're down by 3. Onside kick, they get it. They kick a field goal. This game is tied. We go into overtime. How, as a defensive back, can you let 2 white shirts get behind you?
Yeah,
shocking.
A couple of steps.
And these are good corners and Spears and Brown.
Richard steps up, throws. Lewis had it knocked out of his hands. Chris Brown breaking up the play. And 3rd down coming up for Southern with 1:18 remaining. That's the one play, the one prior to that. The opportunity was there. They just have not been able to come up with that big play on offense.
They haven't. But you have to admire their grit. I mean, 7 starters injured on offense for Southern, and yet they hang it down 27-0, yet they hang in and make this a game.
Doug Williams pacing the sidelines like a true Grambling Tiger, hoping for his first victory over Southern. Grambling trying to snap an 8-game losing streak to their rivals. 3rd and 10. Across the middle. Oh, nearly picked off. Byron Anderson came over and broke up what would have been a certain touchdown. And came over at the last second, too, to break it up.
The ball just had a little too much air underneath it. Anderson had a chance to react. Oh, touchdown. That would have been a touchdown. Great play by Anderson. Good reaction in the middle.
Joubert was open for a moment. Now 4th down. This will be the final play for Southern unless they get a first down or put it in the end zone. 1:11 remaining. Across the middle. Hit Kentrell playing, and I believe he's shy of the first down. Calvin Pearson with a hard hit, knocking him backwards. And Grambling takes over. And the Tigers on the verge of winning the Bayou Classic for the first time in 9 years.
And for Doug Williams, last year he won the SWAC championship. He won the National Black College Championship. Now finally, as you mentioned, a Bayou Classic in his trophy case. And next week, a shot at the only team to beat him this year, Alabama State, in another SWAC championship game.
They'll play that game in Birmingham. What a job Doug Williams has done taking over for the legend. And has now molded his program. It's now the Doug Williams era.
Exactly, as he separates himself from the great Eddie Robinson even further. And when you look at Doug Williams' journey, Navy, the World League, Jacksonville as a scout, Morehouse for 1 year, in his 4th year at Grambling, he will have done it all. He finally wins a Bayou Classic.
And they'll get a chance to avenge their only loss of the season. It was Alabama State, who they'll play next week. Alabama State beat them back on November the 3rd, 45-38. A tough day for Terrence Levy. And there's the bat. I'm sure he doesn't mind taking.
A double bat. He doesn't one bit.
8 straight Bayou Classics went to Southern. And as many of the players told us yesterday, even though Grambling won the SWAC title last year, it was missing something because they had lost to their rival Southern. whistle blows before any contact there as the clock will run down.
And a special day, obviously, for the seniors on this team who have never beaten Southern.
Some great plays, led, of course, by the Randy Himes first quarter, one of the best quarters we've seen. When he threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for another, Grambling went on and led 27-0 and had to hang on. And you have to give credit to Pete Richardson and Southern not giving up. But today, it's Grambling's day as they win the 2001 Bayou Classic. Congratulations to Doug Williams and the Grambling Tigers. Once again, the final score, Grambling 30 and Southern 20. Coming up tonight on NBC, don't miss the Holiday Movie Classic, It's a Wonderful Life, starring Jimmy Stewart at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. For Lewis Johnson, John Dockery, and our entire crew, this is Mike Breen saying so long from the 20th Annual State Farm Bayou Classic.